As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner, Lukas Gentry. Hey, Boone. And Caleb. Hey, we are back. Tuesday, November 19th. We got a packed show today, huh? Packed show. Top 10 Tuesday.
Packed show.
Top 10 Tuesday. We got a lot of things to get to. What Dan Campbell said today, Jared Goff as well. We got some awards. I just saw Chip God put in the chat that Kirby Joseph's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. You got Dan Campbell in the running for Coach of the Year. We have some JMO takes that are quite simply, pretty bad that were said here locally. We're going to react to them, of course, because you got to be held accountable if you say things on air. And we have a new segment we're debuting today. It's just a have fun segment with the fellas here. We're going to let the chat participate. I went back and took about 6 total takes from the fellas, including myself, that have aged poorly. We're going to go through. They're all voice disguised. And the chat, are going to guess. You guys are going to guess who said it. It's we'll call it like who said it or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Who said it? All right.
Yeah, with your host Booner. You guys
don't want me to host that one.
It, and then we'll have fun because hey, we get takes right, but fuck yeah, we get takes wrong. So we're gonna go through it. But
say that first part again.
What'd you say?
Say that first part. We get takes right.
We get takes right.
All right.
You get takes wrong. It's how the business is. But I don't think we've ever done a segment like this where we've like revisited any takes. We just keep it pushing, really.
I can tell it's going to go smoothly already.
Yeah, it's going to be right.
We're going to have a lot of fun with it, but who knows how it will go.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great segment. I can't wait.
Yeah, Boone's loving it.
Yeah, Boone cannot wait.
Dude, we do. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it.
Boone at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.
Hey, Boone. It's all of our bad takes, so
which is fair. Hey, I'm here to defend my life.
It's not like we just singled you out. We got.
I know. Hey, I'm still. When Jeff called me and said we're doing this segment, I said, "All right, which good takes did you get of me?" And he goes, "We're not doing good takes." And I'm like, "What are we doing here?
Yeah, hey,
what's happening here? What are we setting me?
We're gonna have this. We're gonna get right into top 10 Tuesdays. So it's
I might have a heart attack live on air today.
It's
I
gonna
might
be
die.
It's going to be
the whole second hour is just going to be toxic.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, we can start with some positive. I saw Shift got in there. Shout out to him. He says Kirby currently has the 6th best odds to win Defensive Player of the Year. Is that a thing? I didn't check the sports book.
I go check right now.
Is he flirting?
I got you, Boone.
I think it would be Kirby because of he's leading the NFL in interceptions. But like even then, like I would say Brian Branch should be in there too. I don't know where Brian Branch should be. I think we've had this conversation before. Brian Branch is basically like the best defensive player in the NFL right now, in my opinion.
Who would have thought the Lions would lose the Defensive Player of the Year? They have another
3, 4, 5, 6.
It's wild.
7. He has the 7th best odds.
What's his what's the odds?
Plus 3,000. He's there with Xavier McKinney has plus 3,000. Daniil Hunter. And then above him is Patrick Surtain which is crazy. Patrick Surtain over Kirby at plus 2,500 is crazy.
Brian Branch is at plus 4,000, so he's right below Kirby.
Yeah,
he has
the 8th highest odds. Brian Branch does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still. I mean, 2 guys in the top 10. I mean, just say that's still pretty crazy. And
I don't think either of them will win it, but just being in it in the conversation is pretty for safeties is pretty big.
I mean, I have this, and I just want to show this because we actually have the physical graphic. BetUS sent it to me, but we talked about it yesterday just to kind of refresh here. Dan Campbell. He is 2nd in Coach of the Year, even on BetUS. So I know you mentioned it, Booner, on air, but just to get the graphic here, you kind of see who's in the running. I didn't even know that, honestly. I thought he would not be. I don't know why I would think this, but I just kind of figured his chance is kind of like done. I don't know. I just figured he has a good team now, but it's still on the table. I mean, so it's still a good thing. Chance.
Some of the winners of Coach of the Year in the past have been because like the team is just that good. And that has nothing to do with like how are you do like coaching with the bad team. I think we've had like teams who have or coaches who have won it who have like won like 14. I think John Harbaugh a couple of years ago, I think they won like 13 or 14 games. It was just like they're just the best team in the NFL with the best head coach, so he won it. That's what it feels like with Dan.
I think Tomlin right now, he's rightfully so is leading, but I think Jim personally, with the job he's doing, I know it's like Dan's doing a hell of a job though, but I think Jim's should be like right up there too. He is, but it's my coach of the year is between those two, Tomlin or Jim Harbaugh. Like Jim's doing it with like no skill positions, skill positions.
Yeah,
they have one wide receiver. Like
that's wild.
2 banged up running backs their whole career. Go on, Lucas. Sorry.
I would say Mike Tomlin's kind of in the same situation though. I think Ladd, and I know it's funny to say now, but Ladd and Quentin Johnston are probably more productive than George Pickens, and that's their wide receiver core. Like Pat Freiermuth hasn't done anything besides catch a touchdown in a 17-yard performance. And then you look at Najee and J.K. Dobbins, they're pretty much, I think, identical production-wise. And I think from top to bottom, the AFC North is probably a little bit more difficult than the AFC West this year as far as winning that. I mean, you got the Chiefs there, so it's much harder. But as far as like you got the Ravens and the Steelers, it's very close between those guys. And you got the Bengals, which is never an easy game. So I don't know. I think Tomlin should be number one.
If Dan and the Lions are 15-2 though, minimum, he was going to win a coach of the year.
Yeah, Sirianni win it when they went 14-3?
Let me double check because I'm looking at it like Ron Rivera won it when they went 15-1. John Harbaugh won it when they won 14 games. Jason Garrett when they won, I think, 14. I don't think Sirianni did win it.
Who won that?
Jason Garrett probably 15 games.
I could double check with that. I think it might have been 14, Klotzy. 13. Sorry. He had the Dallas Cowboys 13-3, and they were like, oh, that's impressive. 13 wins in Dallas that's something. You got to be a coach to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's Jason Garrett. I mean, my gosh, what
Mike McCarthy last night, pathetic.
Yeah, there'll be a ton of head. I saw. I was listening to Pat McAfee. He had Adam Schefter on. Adam thinks minimum 7 openings this year, max like 9. Wouldn't be surprised if it was 10.
Yeah, because there'll be a couple that we don't expect. I bet. Like Booner's point about Mike McDaniel, I think is very true. Where it's like, okay, how many? Like that's such a talented team, and it's like you literally have nothing to show for it. Not even a wild
Save that take.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
To save that take.
That Dolphins team has been through some shit though. I know he has probably had to have coached better than what he has been now, and the team has had to have played better, especially this year. But I mean, Jesus, they've lost Tua so many times. It's like the guy hasn't had a quarterback. It's got to be on the GM to get him a backup or something to work with.
They can't win with Tua.
Yeah, I mean, that is true too. But I'm just saying he's missed a lot of time with a shitty quarterback. So
hey, it's a fact.
But they do have a talented roster, and that defense. I mean, I don't know how many times they're going to reload and then lose people. It's just like they can never figure it out.
Is Dan Campbell or Andy Reid going in there and losing as many games as he is?
Without Tua, with Skylar Thompson,
with Tua, like this year, would those two coaches have more wins than him?
But I mean, not every coach is fucking Andy Reid.
But when you're in year 4 of a coach and you're like you're looking for in your franchise, you're looking for a coach to be that type of guy, or you're trying to get someone to take over a franchise like that. When you get to year 4 and they haven't done that yet, boom, you're gone. In my opinion, if I'm the owner, boom, done. You have 4 years. Figure it out.
You should be, yeah. I mean, that's how I view coaching.
Either you're it or you're not, and if you're not it, boom, you're next.
I think by year 3 you should be contending for your division. And then
Especially with that roster, I don't care if people are getting hurt. That roster, dude,
in a rebuild by year 3, like Dan, year 3 contended first division and won it. So that's how I would base it. I mean,
the Jets are hot ass, Patriots are hot ass.
Yeah. And he contended for it last year, right? And then they kind of fell off. Was that what happened last year? The Miami Dolphins.
Oh yeah, they fell apart.
They literally fell apart.
Yeah, a lot because
didn't they back into the playoffs?
Yeah. And they got smoked going into KC in like 10-degree weather.
Mm-hmm. Skylar Thompson.
But they are a running first team, and they can't run the ball in the cold.
Well, hey, speaking of playoffs, the Lions are favored to go to the Super Bowl and win it. They're favored officially, and Jared Goff was asked about it. Let me put this on screen for you guys. Will Birchfield, Lions are officially the Super Bowl favorites. What does it mean? They asked Jared Goff. He said absolutely zero. Someone else was a favorite in week 1, so what does it mean for them? I don't know. It means nothing. Jared Goff is probably one of the most uninteresting Like he does not give any quotables, which honestly, that's like a franchise quarterback's job. That dude is the most dull. Interviewing him's got to be something special. Like when he comes on every week, it's like, okay, Jared, what do you think about this? He's very bland, which honestly is good. I think for radio, they probably are like, Jesus, we just want one bite. We just want one time Jared slips up and says something. He does not care, which is a great thing, by the way. No problem with it whatsoever. But you see the guy. They don't think about it, guys. They don't think about Super Bowl, like the odds and all this shit. They don't care. This team is so busy. Every single week, they are just focused on the next game. I mean, this team is just, it's different. It's so different.
Can I ask? Can I give an update to the people on the Booner Path?
Yeah, go ahead. Give an update.
Can I make a request too? I don't want to go single. Can I just go me and Klotzy? Just me and my CPO. Can we go 2x2 here?
Janitor doesn't get in the team pick.
2x2. I just want my CPO. I want to have a conversation.
We'll tell you. We'll after the meeting, we'll come out. We'll brief them on what goes on.
Here we go. Klotzy.
All right.
I started taking notes today.
Okay.
And the fellas, I don't care what they're doing off camera. I don't.
Yeah, hey, we're locked in.
This is a Booner Path. This is for the people in the chat who are part of the Booner Path. I want to know. Hey, first of all, Booner Path. Hey, we're looking pretty good, Klotzy. Yeah.
We are.
Things look up over here.
Come on now.
The Booner Path looks good. All right, let's just give an update. Oh, real quick. Booner Path. Klotzy, I don't want to say it's a lot because there's teams that have two losses, and you have one. This thing, what's happening right now? All right, my vision here with this Detroit Lions team, and I think a lot of people are talking about it. You have a lot of injuries. Alex Anzalone, Hutch, that doesn't really matter, but maybe Marcus Davenport, the commish. Offensively, you have guys that can keep getting beat up. The 1 seed has become even more important, Klotzy. And we keep saying the Lions, they're not going to lose another game. Listen, the 1 seed right now, this is another bye week to get healthy for the fellas to get back.
Only had one in week 5. Lions, week 5.
Week 5. That's why I think there's a situation going on here when we're talking about the Booner Path. What's the best path to the Super Bowl? The 1 seed people and Tyler Chevet. 1 seed isn't important to you. Okay, Tyler, if you want to play an extra game and not get rest and get some of these guys back, you go ahead. If you don't want a 1 seed and you want to play an extra playoff game, you go ahead. Because guess what? I want the week off and I want the 2 games at home. The NFC, if the 1 seed doesn't matter to people, the NFC Championship game at Ford Field in front of Detroit Lions fans will be the best NFL game of all time hosted by an NFL football team. The best NFL. It will be electric. No one will be able to touch it. And guess what? I've guaranteed this a million times. The Booner Path runs through Detroit. They will not lose a playoff game in Detroit. As soon as they lock up the 1 seed, you get all of that rest come the bye week. And number 2, you're guaranteed a Super Bowl. You're guaranteed a Super Bowl because you will
W guaranteed.
You will be playing in the Super Bowl, and then and I've said it a million times. When you get there, all you have to do is win. All you have to do is win 60 minutes. And Dan Campbell, with the month off the prep or 3 weeks off the prep, there is not a coach in the NFL, even Andy Reid, who will beat Dan Campbell off 3 weeks to prep, and Ben Johnson and AG. Not one team. The Booner Path, Klotzy, I just wanted to we wanted to have a little VIP meeting here. Hey, it's never been better. It's never been better.
Stoots, and I will say this to add on to it, Boone. Like the team that we're talking about, pretty much the only team that can contend for the 1 seed is what, the Eagles? Sit with 2 losses.
Maybe not even the Eagles.
But the Eagles, and I'm just using it for sake of conversation, the next 2 weeks, they have the Rams, they have the Ravens, they get beat up on the Panthers, then they have the Steelers, then they have the Commanders again on the road, and then they finish you off with the Cowboys and Giants. But between those, they're dropping 2 to 3 games, in my opinion. So Lions, I think it's knock on wood, it's locked up, like you said.
If you get the 1 seed, and that's where fans need to understand, the people, Tyler in there saying 1 seed doesn't. No, as soon as you lock up the 1 seed, you just locked up the Super Bowl berth. That's in my. You are not losing a game at home in the playoffs. You will not. You are going to the Super Bowl as soon as you lock that 1 seed up. That is a fact. You don't have to worry about going on the road. You don't have to worry about road atmospheres. You don't have to worry about, all right, who's going to play in the division or who's going to play in the wild card round. Who's that? No, you have the wild card off. Go get rest, a week to prepare versus whoever you end up playing, and then you're right into it. It's basically a second bye week in the thing. It is going to be. Look at last year. Who had the 2 bye weeks last year in the NFL?
The Chiefs and the Niners, Boone.
Who was in the Super Bowl?
Oh no, it wasn't the Chiefs. It was because the Chiefs were like 10-7. So it would have been Who
It might have been the
came out of
Chiefs.
it? We're having a brain fart.
This is not good. This is not a good look for the Booner Path.
I'm trying to think of who was number one seed in that.
I'll look it up. Someone in the chat might
Was it the Ravens? It might have been the Ravens.
It was the Ravens, and then they lost. Yeah, but still, hey, who in the NFC
Lamar
had it?
Jackson
The 49ers.
I agree with you, Booner. I think honestly, because the way that the Detroit Lions play on the road, I think the fact that they're just getting a week off is more than anything. Because like guys like Sam Laporta, who's been just consistently kind of playing through injury. There you go. Keep sweeping. He had no
clue he was on camera. He had no clue he was on camera. That was funny.
Yeah, he didn't.
All right, hey, just meeting. Hey, meeting adjourned. We're good. Hey, great.
Let's let him back in.
We'll talk in a couple weeks. We'll talk.
Did you put that broom away in the right spot?
Yep, I did. Yep.
What was the broom for?
I'm the janitor of the Booner Path. Just doing my duties while I could.
Hey, staying productive. Might be getting a little upgrade here soon, Gentry.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Maybe
get it out of the closet office.
Hey, I take all I can get here. No complaining this way.
You're still third in the hierarchy. Don't worry.
Yeah, definitely third. I don't know where Jeff's at anymore in the hierarchy.
Did you say Andy Reid with 3 weeks to prep is cooked? Did you
say hey, what are you talking? You were not invited into the meeting. You have no clue what was said. You have no clue what was said in the meeting. You have no comment from me.
Right, yeah.
You were not in that meeting. That was a member only's meeting. All the people in the chat and me and Klotzy.
You take away what we tell you, okay? Basically, all you need to know is the one seed is a little bit more important than it ever could be, given the chance that the Lions have in the Week 5 bye.
I mean, I agree with the number one seed thing. I mean, yeah, you want everything to go through Ford Field. Absolutely,
it's going to go through Ford Field. You get a week to rest, and you know what?
I think it's important.
Not going to say it. Not in the Booner Path meeting anymore. Let's move on. I just wanted to update the people. Shout out to people.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, that's crazy work. I love it. Booner Path, it is
it's the best it's ever been. Like, dude, we're talking about, you're looking on the left and the right. There's skyscrapers, buildings are being made. There's beautiful flowers everywhere, and we're just flying down a path. We're all in like Ferraris, we're all in like McLarens, just driving down, looking at each other. Unk's and the janitor over there driving like a little like Toyota Corolla, and we're all just rolling, man. We're rolling. Like last year, dude. And last year it was like there was bumps. There was a lot of. I remember having to take like some I was like, oh, road work ahead. Like here we go. Like after the Ravens game, a lot of road work happening here. A lot of things happening. Now, it's never been more beautiful. Hey,
in fact, you just keep those Pistons off the building. They might be there in a year or two.
I've said I'm scouting them. They're like a 3-star recruit right now. I'm scouting them.
Give them all that.
You guys hear Dan's response to Jim Costa? Jim brought up Jim. I think Jim was like, I love Jim. It's such a Jim take. Like he's on air. I thought they kept the starters in too long on Sunday. He's like, I thought they kept the starters in too long. He's like, you're up 30. What? I don't even know what it was, like 20 something points, maybe 30 points. You're up. He's like, you just got to pull the starters. And then Anzalone gets hurt. They asked Dan Campbell about it when he joined, and he said this. He said, if you're asking me to pull someone out of the third quarter, or you're asking me to pull someone out right before the second quarter ends, before Anzalone gets hurt, I'm never going to do that, ever.
Let him know.
Hey, remember John brought this up because John was like, I'm curious how Dan handles the number one seed. Do you think Dan's the type of guy? Like, number one, you can get your thoughts on that. But like, do you think Dan's the type of guy to rest starters a week before the playoffs?
Week 18?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He mentioned it last year. He was like, even if we had like a locked in spot, like they were obviously fighting for it. Remember, he took him out, I think, in the second half last year, or like towards the second half. I think once you get to a certain point, like you're at least going to play one half of football with Dan. Whether even if it's one season's locked up, you're playing a half of football. Because you have a bye week the next week. Like you don't want to like go 2 weeks off, like especially Dan Campbell. You don't want to go 2 weeks off like that. You really don't.
Yeah, before playoffs, it would definitely be halftime. But as far as last game goes, there was no way, like he said, he's not pulling people in the second quarter. He's not pulling. Maybe you could say like with 5 minutes left in the third, but even then, like there was some things that like obviously they wanted that offense to get worked out of last week, and obviously you could say they did that in the first half, but the fourth quarter, that's all fair and good, but I think he's right. I wouldn't have pulled them in the third quarter, maybe late in the third quarter either. I mean, I agree with Dan here.
Yeah, the second quarter is crazy.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's like, you got a whole half left of football. I get it's the Jags, but like the fact that we're even discussing that is crazy. I mean, it is. It shows how good the Lions are. I also saw today they put Iffy back on IR.
Yeah,
they put him back on IR. Had it re-aggravated. I'm not sure if it was the same injury or he had another injury, whatever.
Does that
it was.
mean he's done for the year?
I mean, it's 4 games when you put someone on IR at minimum.
Yeah, but isn't there like a rule? Like if it's a certain point of the year and you go on IR, then or it could be wrong. No, because Ansel just went on.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay. I think if you put someone on IR, it's minimum. I think 4 games. So
okay, I think if it hits a certain amount of games, it's done for the year. I think if it's like 8 or 9, maybe.
But yeah, he that's unfortunate. So to talk about Iffy, him coming back, Brodric Martin was activated though.
There we go.
Hey,
Klotz,
Big Brodric was activated.
The
big fella.
Brodric!
Even though he won't see the field ever,
what?
Unless DJ Reader goes down. Yeah.
It's the
You
last
don't
thing
think Brodric Martin at some point is going to end up taking snaps from Pat O'Connor?
He's going to be a fine rotational piece, Jeff. He's going to see some snaps. All right. Come on.
Well, yeah, what type of comment was that?
I'm kidding. I'm
starting to notice something about. I'm starting to notice something about Jeff. I'm getting a really good handle on this thing, Jeff. Here, no Diddy. Now that you can't freak out. That was a good save.
Good job. Yeah.
Hey, you have a side of you that might be a little negative. I'm starting to see.
But Boone, you got to have a balance. Yeah.
Now,
okay, that's fair. That's true.
Right. Doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah, and by the way, rewind. Don't you ever, not you, Boone, Lucas.
Oh, okay.
Don't you ever disrespect Pat O'Connor again. You know how well. Hey, you know he's balling.
You don't do that. Don't do that, Klotz.
That was Gentry.
Who said Pat O'Connor?
Klotz.
No, I didn't say Pat O'Connor. I said
no. I think it was Boone. Boone, you gotta have
Boone. Was it you? Don't you? Hey, Pat O'Connor.
Yeah, that was me.
Pat O'Connor. He's solid.
Pat O'Connor's good, but again, Brodric, he was having a really good training camp. He was getting snaps. Remember when DJ Reader was down when we were at training camp? Who was getting those 1 snaps? You guys remember?
Brodric.
Yeah.
Brodric Martin was in there. So like Brodric's good. Like Brodric, if he's back healthy, like he took that long, obviously to get better, and they wanted him back when he was fully healthy, and they waited, and now he's back. Let the man go out there and cook a little bit. Don't just sit Brodric Martin on the side if you're going to let him go out there and play some ball, man.
In all seriousnly, there will be
a good football player.
There will be packages that you can use Brodric in, maybe maybe for, I don't know. They're going to run the football like goal line packages or something. You can use Brodric for sure. He'll play snaps. All jokes aside. So it's good to have some depth back. I mean,
thank you for the honesty.
At least nose tackle depth, because besides DJ Reader, I mean, who do they have? Is Pat O'Connor? He's on a nose tackle. Pat O'Connor,
kind of like another tweener.
Yeah, is that what you're talking about, Pat O'Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Brodric,
he's Alualu was playing meaningful snaps, and Benito Jones. I think that they're going to have. You got to put Brodric out there. In his second year, he's a 3rd-round pick, so you got to see at least what he has. So there's going to be incentive for both sides to see Brodric out there. And I agree with Boone. Like DJ Reader is a very good football player. You have a guy that can give him a blow, pause for a snap or two, kind of let him just get reset, get the juices flowing again back out there, create some problems. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So won't be a huge snap count for Brodric, but he's going to see the field every game that he's healthy.
Yeah, looking at the depth chart in your 2 defensive tackle, left and right, and obviously there's nose too, but they have a Lee McNeil and DJ Reader, the top 2. Then Levi O, which he has. What's going on with Levi O? He plays outside sometimes, right? Like he's been going back and forth with all the injuries. Then you have Mekhi Wingo, who is playing inside, but can also he's a tweener. He can go in and out. And then after that, you have David Bada, who was on the IR. You have Kyle Pecco, who was going to get snaps, Jeff, in that spot. He is on the IR. And then you have Brodric Martin, who was on the IR. Like those are your defensive tackles listed on the depth chart. Now, obviously, some of these guys on the roster can go in and out. Some guys listed at the edge, that. But when you're talking about just strictly defensive tackle, most of those guys have you have 3 of them that are on the IR right now. Like if Kyle Peko wasn't on the IR, they would find a way to get him some snaps throughout the game. Now, Brodric's going to find a spot for him to be able to, I mean, it's not going to be 20 snaps, but maybe 8-9 snaps would be my guess. Like just a handful of situational snaps when DJ Reader needs a little bit of a breather.
Give him a blow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Brodric. I'm excited just to have him for depth. I never know when you need him. Injuries are going to occur at some point.
Klotz, don't ever say that something like that about Pat O'Connor ever again. All right.
Hey, that's on me, Booner. I gotta have some self-awareness.
No.
Yes.
Hey. I forget you were in the foxhole, Klotz, about Pat O'Connor. I believe. Could be mistaken.
I think we all liked Pat O'Connor, so I don't think it was.
If you don't like Pat O'Connor right now, watch some Detroit Lions football. Okay, man's laying his life out there.
The Irishman,
he's doing everything he can, everything Pat O'Connor could possibly do. He's trying to do it. He might not go and execute fully through, but he's trying. He's out there efforting, creating problems after the play. He's playing chippy, special teams.
Yeah, he's leaving it all on the field.
Big 9-5, don't doubt the sleeves. You see the sleeves. We wanted Matthew Judon. We got Pat O'Connor. Okay, you want the sleeves?
Pat O'Connor at home.
There's levels.
We got Pat O'Connor at home. That's sick.
We already got Judon at home. It's Pat O'Connor. Hey, speaking of executing, boys, Jared Goff's executing. You see what Nick Wright said? First things first.
Gosh. Can we play that or no? We can't play it.
We can't. I have it written down what he said.
Okay.
I just so I can quote it. I don't want to risk
what a loser. That's your guy, Jeff.
Yeah.
What a loser.
I was gonna say I hate this dude. Just gobbles LeBron, Mahomes. Like, dude,
I've lost all
the Bears going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Caleb Williams. Dude, this is Jeff's hero. Like literally.
He loves Trevor Lawrence.
And by the way, when we're talking about this segment that we have going on later, like all our bad takes, Jeff's like, Nick Wright has bad takes. He's making millions. Bro, I don't want to be Nick Wright. That guy sucks, dude. I don't care how much money he's making. That guy is so bad. He had the Bears going to the Super Bowl. This man is wrong 90% of the time. Like, he has a job because I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm done. I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, you could have brought up like someone else smarter having bad takes or someone else that's really good, but you literally said Nick Wright. So you didn't start us off on a good foot as far as that segment goes. But we're gonna be all right, Boone. All right, we're gonna be all right.
Oh, dude, Nick's so bad, dude.
I cannot wait for 9 o'clock.
It's gonna be so fun.
He's about to be the face of Fox Sports. He's gonna be the face, all right, if you know what I mean.
Well, I also
no one. All right.
I don't know what you mean,
bro, I gotta watch what I say to Booner behind closed doors. Bro just lets it fly on air.
Well, no, that's that's excusable. That wasn't bad. That was not bad.
Right.
I know my.
Right.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Nick Wright.
Whoa, bro. All right, 30. Dude, come on now. I apologize.
I'm joking. No,
that wasn't that bad of a thing to say. Okay. That was a funny.
I was kind of talking like friend to friend there, but
what?
But you know what I meant basically is we all are going to get things wrong. Okay, Colin Cowherd does a segment every week where I was wrong, where I was right, or where Colin was wrong, where Colin was right. So who cares? I mean, it comes with the business. It does. But hey, Nick Wright did say about Jared Goff. He was on air and he serious. They're talking about the Lions being favored to win the Super Bowl. And Nick Wright with Greg Jennings right there, Chris Broussard, Nick Wilds. He just goes, yeah, I don't know if I can say comfortably that the Lions are better than the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills because they essentially have Jared Goff. In the modern NFL, quarterback play, and he went into basically the
say the word.
It's like the same shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's always these guys are elite, and Jared Goff is not on that level. And Greg Jennings proceeded to kind of destroy him by saying, well, in the offense he's been elite. He's been very good. It doesn't really matter. They argued. Essentially, I want your guys' thoughts on that narrative, or I guess the one-off, because it's just Nick Wright, having doubt because of – and then we're not talking about getting to the Super Bowl, by the way. We're talking about winning it. He's talking about if they face the Bills or Chiefs. matching up with the Bills or the Chiefs. I know we'll get the matchup in a couple weeks. But Nick Wright, he really thought, I'm gonna be honest, that was terrible by Nick Wright. Terrible take. It was terrible. I will say. Like you cannot say right now with how Jared Goff's playing that you can't win a Super Bowl with this guy. Like with how the Lions are playing. You can't. It's with how they're playing right now, no way. The last problem they should be worried about is Jared Goff.
Yeah. I'll say I think you left a big word out that Nick Wright used, which was calling Jared Goff, you can't win a Super Bowl with a civilian at quarterback. That's where you get a little disrespectful, and not even disrespectful to the point like, we talk on air, like, you might use words like that. You're just dead wrong. Like, the man is not a civilian at quarterback. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He is third in the MVP for voting, like, or for odds. Like, this is a guy who's already been to a Super Bowl. This is a guy that last year was top 5 in almost every single category as a quarterback, and went to an NFC Championship game, won an NFC North, and won a playoff game for the first time in Detroit. All of those things since the 90s. So no, like a civilian at quarterback, like Nick Wright, buddy, you're the civilian that's trying to talk and act like you should be on the internet. You, Nick Wright, are the civilian that shouldn't be allowed to talk football. That is you, Nick Wright. So Nick Wright, the man, no one should ever take into account what the man has to say. And obviously it's all for clickbait. You could see as soon as he called Jared Goff a civilian at quarterback, every single person in that room that knew anything about football, eyes just lit up. Like, there's no way he just said that. Like, there's no way this man just said a civilian at quarterback. And that was where I think, like, if you would have gone about it and say, hey, maybe there's a question on that. Okay, but to call Jared Goff a civilian at quarterback and say there's 0% chance they win a Super Bowl, that's wrong. That man went into Arrowhead last year and beat the Chiefs. Like, I mean, what are they? Are they undefeated at home right now? They've won 8 straight games, like, or 9 straight or whatever.
No, they lost at home against the Bucs.
I said on the road, though. The undefeated on the road.
No, sorry. I thought you heard.
And they've won 8 straight football games. Like, guys, this is the best team in the NFL. And Jared Goff has put up so many big-time games to prove that. He's gone 18 for 18. He had a perfect passer rating the other day. He threw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. No civilians thrown for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. There's no civilian that's even in a conversation. Not even in a conversation for an MVP race. So Nick Wright as a civilian, me as a civilian, to another civilian, you, Nick Wright, sit down and stop talking about the Detroit Lions. I think that's fair to say.
The only civilian that has ever looked like a non-civilian in the NFL was Matt Flynn, week 14, week 17 against the Detroit Lions. If you look at Jared Goff and say that man's a civilian, that's exactly why we got in the discussion yesterday, why I don't think Jared Goff will win the MVP. It's just because people look at him like that compared to the Josh Allen or the Patrick Mahomes. But if you're looking at Patrick Mahomes and that offense, the way that they're playing, and you're even looking at that defense, which is very good. I'm not discounting that. And you look at who they've been playing against, the differential in what they've won by, most of them have been one possession games. I think they've had 2 wins that weren't one possessions. And then you look at the Lions offense, clearly better. The Lions defense, maybe not on paper, is not as good as the Kansas City Chiefs. But if you look at just the rankings around the league, the Detroit Lions are playing at an elite level right now. And they just got better with Zadarius Smith. So when you look at it, if they win week 12 against the Buffalo Bills, I don't know what you could possibly say if you're Nick Wright. And I think it's most likely going to happen, especially the fact they're at Ford Field. So this is a take where it's a Skip Bayless take. That's what it is. He's taking a play out of Skip Bayless's book, and he said he's calling him civilian. You remember how Skip always used to go at your King LeBron, Jeff? And he still does to this day. And if you go back on record, Nick Wright, that whole Fox studio pretty much does not like Jared Goff. Could not tell you why, but Coward, he used to be Jared Goff. He just can't do it. McVay moved off him for a reason, and now he's acting like Jared Goff is his hero, and he's always been a fan. So the Jared Goff thing, it's funny. I'm just happy the NFL player, the former Green Bay Packer and Minnesota Vikings, Greg Jennings, could check and be like, Nick, like, you're fucking insane. There's no way. If you think Jared Goff is a civilian quarterback, I'd love to hear what Aiden O'Connell or a Gardner Minshew or a Joe Flacco. It's like, I'd love to hear the word for those guys, because if he's a civilian, I'm shocked.
I hate Nick Wright. I don't really have much more to add, but I think that like when he's saying civilian, I think he's just saying that a quarterback that can't make plays with their feet, and that's literally all that I get from that is because he slobs on Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, guys that can extend the play. So like, I mean, obviously I don't take anything he says seriously. He's a clickbait artist. Kind of like a lot of people we know around here. But other than that, Nick Wright's a clown. Jared Goff's fine. He's definitely not a civilian. He's top 3 in the MVP vote this year. Shout out to Boone for calling that before it even happened, before it even brewed. But no, Nick Wright's a clown. That's all I got to say.
Hey, brew, no coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruno, Chris.
Okay. Now see what I did here. This is what I do. The monster I've created with these. We're gonna start saying these all the time.
These one-liners.
He thinks he's a pioneer now. He always thinks he's the pioneer.
I mean, I'll say that. Hey, I will say, and I'm gonna say this because we mentioned the bad take segment. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I said Hendon Hooker would start next season for the Detroit Lions. I said that into this microphone, and I am. Hey, hold on.
Hey, let's. Respect. You know what? I respect the man that could do that.
Here's where my mindset was at the time. Jared Goff is coming off a great year. People had confidence that he would go out this year and ball. I did. This was before he was extended. I thought Hendon Hooker would be the franchise quarterback moving forward. I liked his upside. I loved what he could be in this offense. I thought it was a great situation. I was wrong. The Lions proved me wrong by extending him. It's clear as day to look at Jared and say, this man is capable of winning a Super Bowl. And Greg Jennings nailed it. The offense he's in right now, and I don't want this to be like a shade at Goff. It's just true. They protect him so well. They do. And that's why when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, he doesn't have to be. You see him scramble a couple of times, but the dude is in the pocket just chilling. He's kicking out a lawn chair, hanging out by the beach. That's what he's doing every time he snaps the ball. So their offensive line is already elite. It's the best O-line in football. You can supplement lack of mobility by protection, and they do that extremely well. You also can supplement that by running the football. They have 2 great running backs. You don't need Jared Goff to run the ball. You have Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, who are as talented as they are, best backfield in America, and arguably best backfield of all time. So Nick Wright, the whole mobile quarterback thing, yeah, does it help to have a guy who can scramble for a first down? Absolutely. But Jared Goff is not that, but you know what he is? A very efficient, very productive quarterback. That's the facts. So with this team currently constructed, they can absolutely win a Super Bowl, even though me and Klotz, we brought up at weeks ago before they got Zadarius Smith, our concern for the lack of pass rush. That's going to be the most important thing. And with Zadarius now, I have confidence they can do it in big moments with Zadarius, even though he's not Aiden, but I still feel like he can supplement some of that. You're losing some of that production. But yeah, the Nick Wright's point, it's invalid. I get, he's a Chiefs guy. He's probably still mad about saying the Bears are going to the Super Bowl. That was ridiculous. But yeah, the Lions can absolutely win with Goff. They can. This offense, I mean, dude, they can beat you in so many different ways. Like you look at other teams like, the Chiefs or the Bills. Like the Bills, their option is Josh Allen. They have to beat teams that way. They can run the ball better with James Cook. But Josh Allen, you saw at the end of that Chiefs game, what did he have to do? Be Superman. He had to scramble for 25 yards into the end zone. And that's what Josh Allen can do. And it's awesome. It's sweet. But Jared doesn't have to do that. He has 2 great backs that can take it to the house with 1 carry. So, yeah, Nick Wright, I don't know where he was going with that, but it's an L take. Absolutely L take. And we're talking about him, so technically he might have won. But he still lost with that terrible take. I will say that. Fair. It was terrible. Everyone should know at this point. Even Easy. Shout out to Easy. He's coming around a lot more on Goff too. He is pretty open about it. He talked about it on Twitter, and he even roasted the take as well. So everyone should be able to see that he is a very, very good quarterback, capable of winning a Super Bowl. He already got there once before, and I think he's grown into an even better player. Another guy that's been, for some reason, getting shade, and it's just an odd clip, and I'm going to play this, and we'll shout out to Matt Dery. Matt Dery?
Dery, I think.
Dery. Matt Dery, who hosts Locked On Lions. I've never had a conversation with him. I don't know him personally, but I saw this clip on Twitter, and he was I'm going to play this, and I want you guys to react to it because I saw it was causing a stir. Like this is some of our local media here. Lockdown Lions. Shout out to Matt Dery. But here's Matt on Jameson Williams.
The one to Jameson Williams where he turned on the burners and then acted like a complete clown and grabbed his crotch and what. I'm done talking about that. Let me just actually I'm not done talking about it. Let me just get this out of the way. All the YouTube commenters come after me. Jameson Williams' act is getting tired. Sorry, guy's a talented player, but jumping backwards into the end zone when you don't have to. What if he hit his head, cracked his head open? What if he got a concussion? What if he hurt him?
No.
Just run into the end zone. Just run in there. Just do what your other teammates do. You want to dance after? Go for it. Grabbing his crotch like Marshawn Lynch, whatever. You guys think it's cool? Hey, Breaking T has a T-shirt for it. Awesome. I think it's stupid. Sorry, talented kid, but it seems like
talented kid.
An immature act. And,
This guy's the goddamn fun police.
Honestly, dude, it's the
fun
worst.
police. What even was that? Like,
So he does his show where he does like post games, and he does a show the day after on Lockdown Lions, and that was like in the video of him kind of going through the game. He's just mentioning JMO. My favorite part is he's like, "We're not going to talk about. Hey, actually, we're going to talk about it." He's like,
No,
hey,
wait,
yeah.
wait.
I mean, I think
No, we're going to talk about it.
this is a case, with all due respect, Matt Dery, of old head syndrome. You know, and it happens to the best of us. You know, it happens, and Matt Dery and sure he's a great guy, but the fact that he's like, oh, he should just go into the end zone and not celebrate. Like, this is what people do, man. Like, this is what guys. Did you see Joe Mixon yesterday strutting to the end zone? Like, this is what, and I love it. I love celebrations. It's my favorite
It's
thing.
the best.
I think when the NFL tried to put, and they still kind of do, but not as much, when they tried to put their claws into it and kind of like limit it, that frustrated me as a fan, because I remember the days of Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco, Chad, and all these celebrations, like Chad proposing to the cheerleader. Like, there's stuff it's entertainment at the end of the day. You know what I mean? As much as it is sports and it's competitive, it is entertainment. Like, that is why we watch. It's entertaining. Like when Joe Mixon's doing the too little sign to someone because he jumped over him. Like, I love that personally. So I don't know. It's like crack the head open thing. It's like,
I wonder what his thoughts were when St. Brown did a handstand or Golden Tate did a backflip or whatever the hell it was into the end zone, kick someone. Like, dude, what are we even saying here? If he gets in the end zone and he puts 7 up on the scoreboard, I don't give a shit. And you can get the flag as long as the field goal goes in after. It is what it is. I can't believe we're actually complaining about that. Flipping into the end zone.
Statement? Larry Bird in the 80s. LeBron wouldn't have stood a chance. Electric cars. Why need them? Back in my day, you wouldn't be able to get like that. Earl Campbell. That was a ball player. Every old head reference you could possibly think of, he said it probably an hour before the show. So when you look, it's just like, grow up. It's okay to have some fun. I understand we're not in the golden era of football, of time. Like, who cares? Jameson Williams, last time I checked, 22, 23 years old. If he's scoring touchdowns, if he's having 100 yards a game, if he's having a 100-yard game, a touchdown after he made crucial catches in the week before to help lead a comeback. Obviously, he wasn't the one doing it himself, but he's a crucial part of this offense. Politely, just fuck off. Fuck off. Like, if you don't want to have fun and you just want to watch people just flip the ball in the end zone like Dery, I get it. That's fine. But we're not in 1970, not in 1980 anymore. People are allowed to have fun, and that's what happens. So get over it. It's fine. Jameson Williams, keep being Jameson Williams.
I would be interested too to see, like, do you remember last year when Amon-Ra did the flip into the end zone? Like, and again, I don't know Matt, and maybe one day we'll be able to have a conversation and kind of get to know him.
I'd love to have him on.
And just to kind of get his side of it. But the one excuse that he used was like the injury thing. I don't know. Maybe he's been consistent, and maybe he said the same thing last year about Amon-Ra with the flip. But it doesn't feel. I don't know. Like, it's just like, why are we just Why does it matter that J-Mo jumps into the end zone? Like dude, he gets tackled every play. Like tackling is way more dangerous than jumping up into the end zone. Obviously, like he's probably trying to say it's an unnecessary play that you need to put on your body, but like, dude, let the man celebrate. What are we doing? This thing with J-Mo, guys, like, and I get it. Like if J-Mo, the suspension, like, all right, we can have the conversation when he gets suspended, that 2-game suspension, like all of those conversations, that is like, okay, yeah, it is news. And so there are people out there who are like, why do we have, like, that is news. Like those are real things. Like a player got suspended. Now trying to carry that stuff over and trying to carry everything over to him just having a good time and enjoying and playing football and having fun with a game that's supposed to be, it's guys, it's literally called, it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. Like you're supposed to enjoy doing it. It's like there is no like I know there's a lot of people who are like straight, like even Dan Campbell. We see Dan Campbell crack smiles at the end of the Houston game last week, and like guys, it is a game. It is fun. That's why this Lions team has been, the culture has built up and been so good. Is because of guys like J-Mo and Amon-Ra who have been able to go out there and just all these touchdown celebrations they do. Jared Goff gets involved in them. You saw the whole offensive line last week go down and do the thing with Sam Laporta. Like, guys, it is a game. Like when you start getting into these unnecessary trying to hate on players and call things out like that there's no reason. Like if that makes you mad, then it's like, hey, I'm not. Never mind. You just have other issues with J-Mo, and I'm like, that's just not like you're more worried about his off-field stuff, and you're letting that leak into the on. Yeah, you're letting that leak into the on-field stuff, and just even and Jeff, even the off-field stuff to me isn't that big of a deal. Like yeah, the suspensions are tough, but like I don't think it has anything. Like you can't say like can't get mad at.
Yeah,
should
he? I mean, don't get suspended. I agree, but like the off the field, on the field stuff are different. Like you can't.
Yes.
You can't like just because he was suspended previously, you can't have a problem with the celebration. What is it?
Like, why don't we ever talk about these other guys celebrating? Why is it just J-Mo celebration?
Yeah, and I look at two things, and this is where I base my, I guess, reaction slightly off of. Does Dan Campbell have a problem with it? One, he clearly didn't. Two, did he get flagged? He did. So it's like, that's it. You know, if Dan Campbell had no problem with it and he didn't get flagged, I do not give a shit. I don't. Even when Amon-Ra does the celebration, forgot what it was. Was it Naruto? What was the what did he do?
The Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, sorry. But he flew back, jumped off he landed on his back. It's like, could he have gotten injured? I get like it's the immature thing, but I don't really care. I really don't. These guys are smart. They know. You don't want to get hurt. So it's not that big a deal. I thought it was interesting. Super Bowl Cartier says, I would be more worried if he wasn't trying or scoring. I mean, yeah, he didn't. It did help. He did it in 100-yard. He did it with a 100-yard performance. So, I mean,
yeah, like what do they want us to, like? What do they want him to do? Like, just score the ball, straight face, run back to the sideline, don't high five anyone, and just go sit down? Like, what are we talking about here?
That's what Derrick Henry does.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's just
Derrick Henry's had been here before.
He's so
actually
boring,
twice
dude.
Already this game. I'm just going back to the sideline.
Yeah, like it's
I get
different. I mean, and guys, I mean, we'll see. They play the Colts this week, which I did want to ask you. I mean, we will talk more Colts, but I guess you're early. Lions are 7.5-point favorites right now. If you check 7.5-point favorites on the road, Klotzy, that you know what that is. We'll get to your
home dogs.
Your watch list on Thursday. But
I told you this might be a loaded watch list.
Apparently the Vegas doesn't think so. Almost 8.
Lions are still going to win. Lions are still going to win.
It's disrespectful. You're at home. Lions are favored by 7.5. So you're talking at home. What is it? What do they give you at home? Boone?
3 points.
So this is like a 10-point game. This is the vibe they're getting here. You're just getting 3 because you're at home. I mean, could we see what side are you guys on? Like this could be reminiscent of kind of what we've seen of them facing inferior teams. Maybe not to the extent of the Jags, but you think they'll just take care of business, or do you think this will be more of a gritty, maybe test you a little bit performance? Because I'll tell you this, Anthony Richardson and his mobility, I am curious with this defense. He's very different. He's not a finesse Kyler Murray type of runner. He's like a physical runner. He will run you over. He's got like some of that Cam Newton in him with his running ability. I am very curious to see how the Lions handle someone like that. I think that could cause some issues, but am I worried about that man? No, I'm not. He had a great game, but you know what that means? Up down theory.
Up down, up down.
I'm gonna take a dump this week, Klotzy. But what do you guys think? What's your feeling on the Colts here early in the week? What vibe are you getting?
Let's be easy on Anthony Richardson taking a dump because he's still developing, Jeff. He's still developing. He's going off against an elite defense. But I think it's going to be a game where it's like the Lions are going to win this game. Anthony Richardson's not going to be able to throw the ball down the field. I think he could cause some problems with his legs. This is going to be a game where you'd like to have Alex Anzalone, but at the same time, in order to beat the Detroit Lions, you got to be able to throw the ball. Like you have to. You got to be able to run the ball. Yes, sure. But you have to be able to throw the ball a little bit. And I don't think a bomb to Alec Pierce once every half is going to be able to do it. So I think this is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be close. I think the Colts still won't cover, but it's definitely not going to be how they looked against the Jags or the Titans against the AFC South, but it won't be like the Texans either. It'll be somewhere in between. I'd say probably like a Packers game, maybe a little bit closer than that, just because I think the Colts at home and they're a little bit more healthier right now and just playing some good football. Packers were banged up. I think it'd be closer to one of those type of games outside divisional, of course, but I'm just trying to think of like a game where it's like, yeah, it was close. Maybe the Cardinals. I think Cardinals would be a good comp, but it's not going to be a game where it's like, oh, the Lions are about to lose, in my opinion.
You want to go?
No, I mean, kind of what Lucas said. You limit AR on the ground, you make him throw the ball. He's going to throw some turnovers. Lucas, I don't even care. I think he's probably going to throw at least 1 to 2 picks on this game. If you get after him a little bit, you limit him on the ground. And I'm pretty sure their defense is letting up, and I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's like around like $150 on the ground as it is. And they haven't even played too many teams that have had those great running backs. You insert the best running back duo in the league with the Lions, Gibbs and Monty. They're covering the 7.5 spread. And honestly, it could probably even get a little bit uglier than that. But like Jeff brought up, I don't think it's going to be to the extent of the Jags game. I don't think they're 52-6. But I think, it will be, they will cover that, and it will be a double-digit win for sure.
Hey, quick before you go, Boone, just to Mike's Colts defense, their rush defense, they allow 143 rushing yards a game, and they've allowed 10 TDs, so 143 rushing yards a game. Lions allow 94, I think, 94. So not a great rush defense team.
I mean, the thing with this Colts team, and we could say it all we want, and I've heard people maybe it's a trap. This isn't a trap game. Yeah, the trap. There's the way this Lions team has been playing, and a couple of weeks ago, I know with the Titans game, I had mentioned like this is the makings of a trap game, but I caveated it with, but this Lions team is different. It's one of the best teams we've seen in the NFL in the last 20 years. So like the trap games don't matter. They win their trap games like. I saw a stat today, and I can't remember who posted it. Someone posted it, one of the beat writers, and it was a great stat. I don't have the exact numbers, but they were like talking about, the Lions are just beating up on teams that are just better, or they're just that much better than the teams are supposed to. Like they're really not that good. The beat writer, I wish I remember who it was. They had put up 2 stats saying, all right, so these are the Green Bay Packers and the Bears versus team, or the Packers and Vikings versus teams they're supposed to beat, and it was like. I don't know. It was like 40 something to like 20 or something. And then it was like, this is the Lions versus those teams. And it was like 180 to like 20. It was like a significant difference, or it was nuts. So like, these are teams where typically in a normal year with a normal football team, you would sit down and be like, yeah, this may be a trap game. Like you just come off a big win going into this game. And the next week you have a big Thanksgiving, a big short week. But this Lions team, they just win them. The offense, you have the best offense in the NFL, averaging 33 points a game. And I think it was Rieger, too. I think it was Jeff Rieger. Shout out. I could actually probably
Does he not know the Vikings just played 2 opponents? The Lions played Titans and Jags and beat them by one less. I think it was 1 score, less than 1 score maybe against the Jags.
No, Jeff wasn't the one that said it. He was the one that brought up. He said this. He said someone pointed out the Lions just merely beat awful teams that maybe aren't great. He said maybe they're correct, but however, the Vikings, an 8-2 team, they beat the Jags and Titans by a combined score
so he knows.
30. Yeah, he said they beat them by a combined score of 35-20. The Detroit Lions beat the Jags and Titans by a combined score of 104-20. So 35-20 to 104-20. So the Lions team's just on a different level. They're one of the best teams in the NFL we've ever seen. But like to that point, like guys, the couple factors in this game, just when I first look at the game, First of all, like their defense, Klotz, I know you're probably gonna have some defensive players tomorrow, or on Thursday. Defense has been bad. They're like 28th in the NFL in every category defensively, basically. Like they're not. And if you're talking about they're that bad, like their total defense is like 28th. They're giving up maybe points per game given up. They're like a little higher. But if you look at total yards per game, they're giving up the 28th most yards per game in the NFL right now, and it's across the board. So like, and you're looking at that and you're like, okay, you're talking about a Detroit Lions team who is averaging 33 points per game going up against a bottom half defensive team. They are going to score 30 plus points on them automatically. And then if you want to flip the script to the other side, Anthony Richardson, this offense, they're 29th in the NFL in turnovers on offense. And what are the Lions on defense? They're one of the best teams in turnovers. They're third in the NFL at taking the ball away. Or second, really. The teams played last night. They both got turnovers, but essentially they're top 3 in the NFL at turnovers a game. So everything you look at this game, like defensively, they give up a ton of yards, and that's what this Lions offense loves to do. They love to just score points and put 40, 50 up on you. And then offensively or defensively, they love to take the ball over and get extra possessions. And that's what that's what AR and all these guys love to do. They love to turn the ball over. So Klotzy, like, I don't even think this ends up being the game. Like the 7, give me the 7 2 times, a million times in a row. I'll take the 7. Why don't we do alternate spread minus 20.5, win by 3 touchdowns?
Wow.
I think 20.5.
Why not?
Oh,
I don't think this is a game. I don't think this is a game. I really
check
don't.
The odds on that.
Just looking at both sides of the ball, like the things that they do really bad, the Lions do really good and take advantage of on both sides of the ball. So you're like, where are they going?
I would feel comfortable. I would be comfortable betting 13.5 for sure. I think
even 2. I think 13.5 there.
I think I like the 2 touchdowns here.
I just don't see this being a football game.
Did Kirby have a pick 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Packers.
Kirby and anybody, was that the only one?
So far this year, yeah.
There will be one this weekend, I bet. I bet the defense will at least have, whether it's from a forced fumble, there will be a defensive touchdown, I bet, in this game.
I just don't see a world, though, like contain, like Schiff got saying, we must contain. I think you do have to contain AR and Jonathan Taylor. But like Jonathan Taylor, like, the run defense has gotten back on track this week, right? Like they've shown that now they can stop, and you add Zadarius Smith, and obviously with no Anzo, it's going to be a little different. But like even with AR, like, dude, you have Jack Campbell who's going to be flying. Like you have the pieces that are going to be able to stop AR. As long as you're wrapping up and making tackles, because that's been a problem over the last couple of years with some like big mobile quarterbacks. It's like not being able to bring guys down, extending the play, that. This Lions team isn't like they finish plays off, which I think I'm confident to say, like even if AR runs for 50 yards on you, you could still win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they do a good job. It's like the sacks might not necessarily be there this week, but it's going to be all about contain. You know, don't over pursue. So
don't give up big plays.
Yeah, I would rather them get 1 sack in the game, but keep AR under control. Like, because I'm cool if he lets that thing fly. It'll be 2 picks.
Let him beat you through the air.
Yeah, let him beat you through the air. Exactly.
Let's hope they don't throw that boy Joe in at halftime.
Who cares, dude? Joe was so bad this year.
Dude, Joe looked pedestrian against who they play.
When they got a game plan for him. He's like Jameson. If you throw him in a game, he'll turn it around real quick halfway through.
Yeah, he's like you got to like jump start him, and then he runs out of gas.
Exactly.
Once you get him going, he's hot, and then you let him go for 2-3 games.
You know, like when you like the weed whippers, you press the little bubble to get some like the juices flowing.
Yeah,
it's like that. So you got to go like, come on, buddy.
But he's leaking fuel.
Yeah,
I mean, one thing.
He's gonna get old.
Rusty.
One thing we're not talking about too is this is probably the Chicago and Indy is probably the 2 closest road games for Lions fans. So like it's going to be packed with. I could say blue because Indy's blue too. It's going to be packed with Honolulu blue. Like there are going to be Lions fans in Indy on Sunday. Like it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. And they have
6-hour road trip. Why not?
They do have a short week because they play the Bears. And that's Thanksgiving playing Thursday. So
yeah,
they have a short week facing the Bears, and the Bears they have a short week too, right? They don't have a bye week, right? Do they?
No, I think they've already had a bye.
Oh, so they play this Sunday, then they play. Oh yeah, you got a short week. Rookie Caleb and a short week. Yeah, they'll rattle these off. They'll rattle these 2 wins off. I think. I mean, I'm curious to see what that Bears
play the Vikings.
Big
game.
That'll be Hopefully the Bears, they almost upset the Vikings, or not the Vikings.
I'm cool with the Bears win this week. Just put
Right.
the Vikings, start knocking them down a little bit. Because they've had close games. The Vikings we'll get to our top 10 list. They, that record, it's there.
They're not that bad. I'll stand on that. I'm not going to argue tonight about that, but I don't think they're as bad. I think they're still just a decent team.
That's what I mean.
Decent's a good way
But
to
the
put it.
record indicates they're really
Great.
good.
Yeah.
8-2. Yeah, they're not.
I'm interested to know if
8-2.
you guys finally put them in your top 10.
We'll see.
Yeah, you'll see after the best segment of the night at 9 o'clock.
Oh, and what
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Is that?
Oh, whoa.
Wait.
9 o'clock.
Hey, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. By the way, for those who are tuning in, we're debuting a new segment. This is going to go terribly. We're going to go through and play. We have 6 total takes. There's a lot more. Trust me. Like, I know someone brought up my Hendon Hooker take. I can't play that, guys, because then you'll know exactly who it is. I got to keep it. I had to get like general to where you might not know who it is. A couple you might, but a couple of these, it's more generalized. Like we had a segment, you guys probably, if you were tuning in at the time, our bold take segment. Actually, I will say before I start this segment, a lot of takes. I watched a couple of our bold take segments. A lot of them, we had some good ones there. Aging very good. I had the Dallas Cowboys out of the playoffs. Boone had Derrick Henry leading the league in rushing. Klotzy, I know, had one in the one I listened to, and Mike had one in the same segment I took these from. We had a couple misses, but we had some great ones too. So I want to make that very clear. I'm not trying to. I don't want to turn the narrative on the fellas like we're like you
Cowboys
guys,
top 5 pick.
So they some great takes,
Jared Goff MVP.
but. Yeah, Booner, go ahead. I don't know. Yeah, just get him out now. Get him out now.
I'm gonna say
out of the
it
way.
multiple times throughout this.
We're gonna hear it like
No,
5
Boone.
times.
You know why you're not? You're not insecure. You're good. All right. You're
I'm
gonna.
a
you're
dog.
You're a dog. Yeah, exactly. So I'll play the first one here, and I'm gonna let the chat. So if you guys know who it is, don't say it. Let the chat guess, and then once we get some guesses,
I'm gonna write them down.
we'll read it off. So you write it down. Yeah, write it off who you think.
So I can't cheat.
So yeah, I want to see if I can play this. I don't know how loud. I'm just going to play it at this volume, see if it might be too loud. But all right, for the first segment,
Josh Allen.
the first, yeah, okay, there you go. For the first take, we have this one.
Marvin Harrison Jr. will be a Pro Bowler this year because I went back. Jamar Chase made a Pro Bowl his rookie year. Justin Jefferson made a Pro Bowl his rookie year. Both had 1,400 yards. I think Marvin Harrison is the next one to make the Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Okay, there's our first
I
take.
know exactly who it is.
Marvin Harrison Jr. to be a Pro Bowler this year. Who do you guys think it is? Panda Sam
Me
said
too.
Lucas. We got some guesses here. Andrew Jones says me.
I think it. Wait, do we guess?
No, wait. We'll let the people come
Yeah,
in with some stuff.
take it easy. So we have 2 for Lucas. I should put a poll. Actually, this is a great time for.
We should do polls. Yeah, just put all 4 up as a poll.
I'm gonna put a poll. You guys vote on who it is.
I wrote mine down already, so people.
Marvin
I
Harrison.
have mine as well.
Okay, Marvin. Remember, Marvin Harrison Jr. will be a Pro Bowler his rookie year. So let me. I'm gonna put a poll up so you guys can, because this is way better to kind of determine actual votes. Let me see. Who said it? All right, here we go.
This is fun. This is a fun segment. I enjoyed this. I'm already.
Hey, shout out to Mike. It was his.
Still, it's one of mine.
Great idea by Mike. So I put the poll up there. Who said it? You guys vote, and then we'll wait a couple minutes. We'll see how they build up the momentum.
We just talk about it for a second? Should I just say
So Marvin Harrison Jr. being a Pro Bowler? I mean that it's a bold take.
1,400 yards. Too.
Sorry.
1,400 yards.
Yeah.
what is he at right now? What is Marvin Harrison at right now?
What is he? He
this is tough. This is a tough look. This one's a
To
tough
be honest, I think this is the one where everyone thinks it's going to be Klotz because it's an OSU guy, but I think it's one of the 2 people up top. To be honest,
500. He has 500 right now.
So
he's only averaging 50 a game. It is good for 35th in the NFL.
We'll go around. So Gentry, lock in yours.
I already know who it is. Do you want me to say it? I don't know who it is, but I know who I think it is.
Don't ask, because the person who it is, what are they supposed to do? I mean, what do we do here? You know what I mean? What do we do here? Hold on.
Just write it down, and then we'll give the answer, and then the boys show who they wrote down.
So Lukas is leading 30 votes. Lukas has 50%. I have 30% of the votes. Booner has 17%, and then Mike has
dude what
3%.
Why do I have any votes?
Hey, Martin ain't a Pro Bowler.
I was all on what's
Brian
his
Thomas.
name? Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. I had both of those guys over.
So there's
over
the
Marlon.
poll there. So yeah, okay.
Why am I getting votes? What are we doing here, people?
All right. It was me.
I had Jeff.
The 1,400 yards is what gave it away because I said he'd have 1,000.
1,400 is crazy for like.
Hey, Diggity Dog gets it. You got to look at the verbiage. All right. What are they? Jeff would say. I went back and looked. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, 500 yards so far. I don't know. That one ain't aging.
No, he's 30 top. He's outside the top 30.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, to be fair, Kyler Murray, get him the ball, dude. All right. Jeez, they're playing well.
Still going to be great.
Yeah, 1,400. I meant to say his second year, actually. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. For the next one. Okay. Let me get rid of this. All right. The next take. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Gonna be their franchise guy. Like, think about how long they kept Ryan Tannehill for. Will Levis is such a big upgrade from Ryan Tannehill. Like, Will Levis, the city is gonna love Will Levis.
I mean,
like,
this isn't even.
This is his first season as a full-time starter. He's gonna be just fine.
Is that even a bold take? That's not even a bold take. That's just like we're having a conversation there.
I said the bold takes. They're just takes. All right, they're just takes in general. I have another one of my takes in here. Actually, it could be mine. I
mean, that was the most obvious one ever. I don't know why we even used that one. That was just me talking about Will Levis. That wasn't even a bold or hot take. That was just me commenting on Will Levis. I don't even know why that was in there. I'm across the 12. I don't know why that. I don't know why that made it.
Jeff just had to throw it in there so people stop talking about this Caleb Williams.
Now you guys see why I was like, I'm gonna get mad at this segment. That felt like an attack.
It's fine.
Yeah, you're not. Hey, remember, Booner, you're not insecure. You're not.
No, I'm not. You know, I'm and the thing is the Will Levis thing has been so up and down for me. And by the way, with the voiceover, I sound like such a loser with the voiceover. That sounds crazy, dude. I'm not even gonna read the comment that said in there. It's true. It sounds funny. I mean, dude, I was on Will Levis. I was riding for Will Levis during the draft, and then he fell, and then he had nothing. Everyone was laughing at me, and then when he ended up getting the starting job, everyone was like, "Oh, Booner, man, you really hit that one. You hit a home run with that one." And then now it's so it's tough.
No, it's
such like it's a roller coaster.
That's all it is. Oh, WCD said the guy that defended the take instantly. Yeah, Boone
well, dude, I think there was no like sitting back and like, who is this? Like, it would have been 100% me. That was the most obvious one.
Okay. Luckily we got through Booners. All right, we're through Booners. All right, next one.
He's laughing now.
It sounded just like me. It was like,
I know the cadence. Y'all listen to the cadence. That's the key. Ready? That's the next one.
Panthers' second-year quarterback Bryce Young will throw for over 3,000 yards, 22-plus passing touchdowns, and under 11 touchdowns in 2024.
Wait, interceptions.
Oh, yeah, interceptions. Under 10 interceptions this year.
Who was that? Who was on Bryce Young?
No,
remember bold take segment. Not sure if that one was or not.
That might have been me, to be honest.
It could be. Hey, people are saying me. I was high on Bryce Young. I mean, I was high on Bryce. I was high on Bryce Young. I mean,
BMG looking real quiet back there.
Yeah, the hands back.
He's got nothing to say.
All right, I'm putting up the poll. Here. Who said it? Let's see. Who said it? Let's see.
The next time we do this, we have to do like AI voices. So like we just type in what the person said, so we can't know the cadence. It's just like straight, just the take.
I will do that. We'll do that.
Or it could just be random stuff. It doesn't always have to be like a bold take. We could just who said that or whatever this is called, just random stuff that we said the week before.
Yeah. Yep. I'll even write it down. I could write
I
down
still
the
think
thing.
it's funny. We need to have like a graphic. With
I'm
the
just
quote,
saying-
and then like the face pops up afterwards.
That's actually the best way to do it. Just because the voice changer, it's the cadence makes it.
All right. You want me to just say the next ones? I could just say. I mean, I kind of know.
I
Oh, yeah.
want to hear.
I like to hear it. It's exciting to hear it.
Just making sure.
kinda cool.
Yeah, Klotz, you dominated that. They know it was you. All right, next one.
Don't give a
Klotz!
second.
People actually voted for me on that one.
He's gonna start it off in KC. All right, going up against the Chiefs. He's gonna start a roll now. Bryce Young, don't count him out. Don't count him out.
Don't count
Man
him
got
out.
benched for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, and he's still. He doesn't even have 1,000 passing yards on the season, bro. And he's got 4 interceptions. He's got to have like a. He's like, are we talking about Joe Flacco? He needs the little thing on the side of the weed whacker boom. Bryce Young needs that in his second year.
Hit the button.
All
right.
weed whacker.
All right, so the next one here, yeah, this is. I mean, even if I wrote this down, you guys may
This is
get
4?
this. I mean, yeah, this is the fourth one. Yeah, fourth one. All right, here it is.
Trevor Lawrence will
Yeah.
get an MVP vote. Drop that. Yeah. Drop that. Yeah. He will get a
He
MVP
said drop.
vote. I just said that.
I
Play it
just
one
said
more
that.
time. One more time, Jeff. Play it one more-
Oh
play it one more time.
No way.
Play it one more time.
There's a lot of booners in the chat. There's a lot of booners in the
Man,
chat.
people,
Trevor Lawrence
I don't remember who if I said
hold
this
on,
or
ready?
not. I actually
Hold on.
don't.
will get an MVP vote. Drop that. Yeah. Drop that. Yeah. He will get a MVP vote.
Drop
I just said that.
Could be Booner. Just saying, Boone might be saying some shit like that. I don't know. Yeah, Tom says. He says that's Jeff saying drop that. What do you?
It's
What,
funny.
what,
Jeff doubled down on the Trevor Lawrence MVP back-to-back years.
what were you trying to put up, Klotzy? Hey, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Yeah, that
There's a little more. There's a little more booners in the chat than I would like, to be honest. with you.
Yeah, now that comment popped up, like,
It makes maybe it's not completely obvious. It's like 80% obvious. It's like at least we got a couple boons. That should have been all Jeff's right there. Yeah, I said that.
explain yourself. Drop that.
I mean, it kind of was hard though when I said it. I was like, "Yeah, drop that." Yeah, it was a tough one, guys. I mean, I really did. I said Trevor Lawrence would win MVP last year, so I did say in this clip, "I'm doubling down," quote, and it did not age. I mean, we're week 12. He's not even in. He's injured, so it's.
Can we address this?
Didn't he get injured like week 12 last year too?
Yeah, they were like 8-2. when he got
Actually,
injured.
week 12 last year they were 8-3. He was playing well. I had some confidence. I was like, this year he's healthy. This year they're going to be good.
It's his time.
Can we address this too? Booner, I was never glazing T-Law. Remember last year, I think we did our combined show last year when we were at our last place. And I remember we did the one show in the studio and everyone was like T-Law MVP, T-Law. And I was like the only one that was like, give me Josh Allen.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
I was like, why are people saying me for T-Law? I never. It's interesting.
All right, here's we got two more.
Drop that.
Drop that.
Yeah, we got two more. Okay, we're gonna do this one, and then we got one more. Ready?
It will be Rodgers versus Mahomes in the AFC Championship. That is my prediction.
The Jets.
Rodgers, Mahomes in the AFC Championship. Who said it? Who supported the Jets? That's essentially what we're asking here. Okay, Rodgers and Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. Obviously, the Jets they've won 2 games, so we've all said the Jets will win the division. So It could be really three of us because we all had the Jets winning that division. We got a lot of Gentrys in here. Yep, Gentry. That was Klotzy at the end. The people, they know the cadence. Gentry.
No, they know. It's learning experience.
Yeah,
I was in an absolute.
I was in an absolute one basket, battle. Just like the Jets GM. Me and him, we're both fired right now. I got fired with him.
Yeah, that Jets AFC Championship game, and then you did say after in the clip, I cut it out, but you said Eagles Lions NFC Championship game. Yeah. So that you might still
might get happen. I couldn't have been more wrong about the Jets, but you know what? It is what it is.
We all were.
To be fair, I think Uncle wasn't like the world had the Jets winning that division. It was just like but the whole public was on the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers, you know what he reminds me of? He's Russell last year. Like the stats are going to look great. He's done nothing. Like that's what he reminds me of.
I think his career is done. I think after this year he's gone. He's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, he's.
They just fired Joe Douglas too.
Yeah, he's. I'm not here for another rebuild. I came to win a Super Bowl. This is just not. He should have stayed in Green Bay. It's on him.
All right, we got one more, and then we'll go to our top 10. So one more. Who could this be? Huh? Hold on.
I'm so tired of hearing this every single year. Oh, this team's going to be great. 25 wins, 30 wins.
I didn't even say
break
that.
Records for losing. The longest losing streak in NBA history. But you guys want to go out there and just continue to sign old players for massive money.
No.
I promise you, Trajan Langdon's not going to do what you guys all think he's going to do.
All right, who said that? Who said that? Pistons. Hey, a little bit of Piston slander. Who said it? We got two.
It's clearly not me, but it could be either of these two. It's not Jeff, but it's either. This is the closest one. It's between BMG and Booner.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
It's tough.
Booner wears it on his face when it's him, bro.
Because I know exactly. Like, there's a say, dude. I know exactly the things that I say.
You can see Boone go from to start smiling as he's speaking. To be fair, here's the context of the convo. We were talking about free agency, and Boone was he went off first. He was pretty mad at the time. And you basically were saying, hey, this, you were just saying longest losing streak, 25-30 wins. These people, what they expect. But, explain. What do you think, Boone? I'll let you speak.
I mean, I think at the time, and I don't think like this. I don't know when this was. I'm sure this was months ago. At the time,
was in early August, I think.
All right, yeah. So like you're sitting there. I mean, every Pistons fans probably was saying the same thing as me at some point this offseason, unless you're just an absolute slappy. And Jeff, you tell me all the time when it comes to the Lions, you have to be able to be critical on the other side. And that's where I feel like with the Pistons, I might be, and the people that cover the Pistons aren't. And I know I didn't give, maybe I said that. I don't know what I said after that about Trajan, but I have been pretty consistent saying that, like, hey, I will give Langdon an opportunity to prove it wrong. And same with JB. And I've worn on my shoulder that I thought they were going to be absolutely 20 wins again this year. As of right now, and I've said it a million times, I think they have started to prove it wrong a little bit. I said I think JB is going to come in and establish a culture. I thought it would take longer than a month. He's done it within a month. So all respect to him. Now with Trajan, as the GM, you don't get evaluated just by a year. You get evaluated by a few. So I'm not going to stand completely on what I said. I'll still stand on it. I'll still stand on the point though, to where I want to see him still continue to build this basketball team. Like, you still need to be working. This isn't over, because guess what? You guys all love Troy Weaver for how long? For like the first 3 years. Oh, he's bringing guys in. He's bringing dudes in. You have to let this thing play out a little bit.
Hey, I love Boone. Like, when we go through these things, everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't know." And then Boone's defended every take he said. He's still defending these things.
Yeah, well, I say things that I believe. I'm not.
No. It's like, you thought they win 20, 25 games. It's okay. Like,
I could change.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I'll say this.
It's okay. Like, my Marvin Harrison, I'm not like, he will start kicking into the gear soon. Like, I was wrong. You know
with any takes, whether it's good or bad, when I say things, I think this proof. When I believe it.
We all do.
But you know what I mean? I'll defend it until I die.
No, that's called being stubborn, Boo. That's
No, I mean it's good to be stubborn. I'm
No,
sure Nick Wright would do the same thing.
Jeff didn't like that.
He said, "You're Nick Wright."
Hey, like Tyler Chavez said, 9 toes down like Ragnar. I'm standing on business over here.
Yeah, well, next time we'll use an AI. We'll make it harder for the cadence. I wasn't sure how people, man, you guys are loyal listeners. I was not sure it would be this. I mean, I know because we're obviously all best friends, but I didn't know the chat they would get
you
it.
Like find like an accent with it.
Yeah, let me cook. I'll use AI.
Just put in like a girl's voice or something.
Yeah, I mean AI, you could type it in and it just puts out like a random voice, and it's just like sounds like a robot. I think.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat, man. Real ones. They know the cadences. All right.
Tyler said an Aussie accent.
Yeah, I think that segment will only get better. As we keep doing it. More stuff.
I thought it was fun. I thought that was fun.
It's a goodie. I like it. That one's gonna stick.
Yeah. Do we have more? I already mentioned the Hendon Hooker one. So yeah, we do.
I have a sole job now. I'm going back to while I'm working. I'm going back to find old takes exposed here. This is thrilling.
Yeah, we'll do it. Hopefully, we can do it. Maybe not once a week, but every couple weeks. Let's just fire up a revisit old takes. Why not?
Yeah, I'm with
we could could we talk about the ones we got right? Yeah, but that, I'm not going to glaze my own takes for 20 minutes. I want you guys to see what I was thinking at the time when I said Marvin Harrison Jr. would get 1,400 yards and Trevor Lawrence would get an MVP vote. Okay, not afraid of the stand. I'll stand on business. Not except for that one, Trevor Lawrence. It's out. It's done. It's absolutely done. Yeah, again, I didn't put the Caleb Williams in because you guys would have not.
Good in the Colts take.
Yeah, the Colts take. I was gonna grab, but they would have known. I wanted to get your Anthony Richardson one, but they would have known.
The Pistons one really threw me off. I'm gonna be honest. I did not think.
I don't know where this Anthony Richardson, me thinking Anthony Richardson was going to be a hero, come from. I said he doesn't even have to play well. You just got to be able to play.
Yeah, I guess your Colts one. Colts, not Anthony Richardson.
I'm a Steichen guy. Still am.
Yep. But I put the Lawrence one I threw in just because I thought it was hilarious. It was so bad. I wanted to put it in. Pause. Hold on.
And the Will Levis one. That was good.
Yeah, the Will Levis one, I had to poke fun at Boone. You know what I mean? I gotta have fun.
Love you, Boone.
That was just
Boone's it's not over yet.
No, a lot of time.
Still, I don't even know if that was a take. I think that was just a discussion.
To Minnesota.
That was just a discussion we were having that was one of those out of context things. I feel like I just got thrown out in the street there. I'm kidding, dude. I'm joking. Shout out Brian. He donated $5 earlier. Totally forgot about it. That's on me. Nick Wright was obviously the last kid picked in dodgeball. Yeah, Brian, you are spot on with that. Derek Lash donated 5 Crunch Time memberships. Appreciate you for that. And then Steve Lehman said the voices for Lions playoff tickets went out today. I did not know that either. Saw that, and I heard it was a very, very expensive price.
Yeah, if anyone has the price and they don't mind us asking, I'm curious. Last year they were a shit ton. I mean, I can only imagine this year.
They probably charge for, just to be safe, they probably charge for wild card. It's probably a down payment, but it's probably wild card, divisional, and NFC championship. Just in case, obviously they probably have to do all 3.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine how much they are. I know people. We talked to when we went to Pro Sports Zone. We talked to season ticket holders there when we were talking. We were with Will Rock. And they were saying the season tickets already came out and they were ridiculously expensive. That was when it was insane. The price they go up. They've went up the last 2 years, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know how much playoff tickets are. It's probably absurd.
I'll say this, dude.
Hot take, real quick. Hot take. I like watching it. I like watching it with you guys at the bar or at home. It's just me. I don't know. Maybe
I've been doing that my whole life. I've never had season tickets. I've never had season tickets, so I've been doing it my whole life. So I'm used to it, and I'm fine with it. Watching with the boys, I enjoy. Last year doing the streams, and into this year the streams. I enjoy the streams way better. And I'm very superstitious to where it's if I go to a game or if I'm not on stream or something, then I'm all right. And you guys know that. When we sit down, same spots. We're on a 8-game winning streak. not switch it up. And two, like, I'm not one of those people, and maybe I'm like on my own with this. I'm not one of those people that are mad. Like, obviously, I don't have to pay for them, but if I was a season ticket holder, I wouldn't even be mad that the price is going as high as it is. Like, that means your team is that good. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it means like, maybe I'm on my own because I'm not a season ticket holder, but I just like that's what it comes with being good. And we have like Lions fans have wanted to be good for so long. And I think like when you're looking at it, like finally you get to pay. Like I'm not gonna. It should be an honor. Like you should be like, I want to pay the most expensive tickets in the NFL. Like that's where I'm at with it. I get like being the lowest in the NFL for so long, but like, hey, welcome to being literally the best team in the NFL. I told my cousin today. We were talking. I was like, this could potentially go down as one of the best teams in NFL history. So like, yeah, it's worth every single penny.
Yeah, I see Xavier D. Vivid Seats 1,000 to 4,000.
It's crazy.
It's probably 1,000 for like top.
David Lyons there said wild card game 237. So that's probably what they're charging like
maybe like
per
1,000.
seat for like holders.
Yeah, because 1,000 I'm sure it's like lower level, like close as hell. I don't know. Maybe 237's like up to the nosebleeds. Maybe I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, 237.
Yeah, I mean Joseph says almost 4,000 for decent seats. I mean whatever the number is, it is what it is.
4,000.
That anytime that first time touchdown parlay early in the year come in handy.
Right.
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike's with Sheila. He's just watching the game with.
Listen, you got this hooker guy. You got to get him out of here. This Iafrate won't stop talking about him.
David
Super Bowl.
David said divisionals 284 and NFC Championships 355. So that's not resale. That's not secondary market. That's like what they're paying for like the season ticket holders straight up right away. Which that's not that bad actually. That's pretty good. I don't know where his seats are. Maybe I don't know where those seats would be. But that's actually not that bad. Like per seat, yeah, $355 for one seat is like a lot. But if that's what they're charging, but all these like $1,000 ones, these are all like secondary markets. People reselling them, upcharging.
Never.
You guys ready to get to our right from that to our top 10 toxic top 10?
113, row 31. That's not bad at all.
Nah, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to if it's we're talking under like $500.
So you're basically paying $1,000 for playoff tickets per seat, almost like essentially. That's not bad at all for 3 games.
You know what time it is?
Let's roll.
Come on.
It is time. Top 10 Tuesday. I'll go first.
Bro wants to be the pioneer.
Hey, you'll get to see. This is the right list. We'll set the tone.
Yeah, we know who the right list is every week.
We'll set the tone, and then we'll see what the other fellas got. You guys ready? Let me put this away. So hold on, so we can get okay. Here it is. Here we go.
Why is it on Booner?
Oh,
yeah. What's going on?
Go.
Over here doing something.
Hold up.
Here we go.
Hold up. Let me get. Hey, it's my turn. It's my turn. All right. 10. Green Bay Packers. Should have lost to the Bears, by the way. Should have lost to the Bears. The Bears. By the way, I'm not saying that. Don't before incoming Jeff's a Bears fan comments. I'm saying that to put in perspective how, I guess, overrated slightly the Green Bay Packers are, because Caleb Williams actually looked pretty good against the Packers. To me, that's a problem. Like they are clearly the better team. They won off a blocked field goal. They had an opportunity to win that game. So to me, that's an indictment on the Packers. So to me, they're at 10. I have the Vikings in front of them. I didn't know what to do with the Vikings because the Vikings to me are slightly fraudulent, but they are winning. And they beat the Jags, they beat the Titans, and it wasn't pretty. They come back into my top 10, but it's not meaning they're, this great team. But I do think, if you guys didn't notice, no Commanders in my top 10. They're at 11 for me. They're just outside of it. I will take 9 and 10 over the Commanders, in my opinion. As of right now, Commanders lost 2 straight. I'm sure they'll get back to their form. I don't know who they play this week, but as of right now, I'm going to take them off my list. Number 8, I have the Houston Texans. Dominated the Cowboys. They did what they were supposed to do. And they have a easier schedule coming up, but now they're 2-2 over the last 4, just like the Commanders. So I'm giving the edge to the Texans. I think they're a better team. I think they have more talent as in totality. And I know CJ's not playing his best ball, but the Texans still, like Joe Mixon, the way he's playing, they still have an offensive line that has not been playing great on the interior, but they still have their 2 tackles. They still have defensive linemen, Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter, Autry, who's playing really well. They still have playmakers. So the Texans, I know, and I see the inconsistency thing. That ball don't lie put in there. I get that, but as a team, I think they're going to start getting back to form. They showed that to me against the Cowboys. I know it's Cooper Rush, but they did what they were supposed to do. Whoop their ass. Number 7, Los Angeles Chargers. Credit to Jim Harbaugh, one of the best coaches on planet Earth. He is so great. I love this man. And also, even though I'm not a Michigan fan, but he is an elite coach. He is. And he's doing a great job with the Chargers. Justin Herbert's playing well. He's so good already. But he's got the team playing well with what skill position players? Ladd McConkey and a revived Quentin Johnston.
Don't disrespect Ladd. Thank you.
I like Ladd. But man, dude. Man. And I know the Bengals clawed back a little bit, but they still won the game. That's what matters. Number 6, I have the Baltimore Ravens. They drop a game to the Steelers. Justin Tucker, I don't know what happened. They lost by a point, 2 points, and Justin Tucker missed 3 field goals. So they got to figure that out with Justin Tucker. But the Ravens lost to the Steelers, so therefore I put the Steelers in front of the Ravens, rightfully so. They're playing well. Steelers are at 5. I have the Eagles at 4. Eagles, they're top of the NFC right now. They're going to be competing with the Lions for the number 1 seed. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. They beat the Commanders, who are a good team, so they deserve some love there to get bumped up. Still think the Lions are in their own class, but the Eagles are the next closest to me in the NFC. So the Eagles are at 4. I think they're better than the Steelers at this point in time. Number 3, number 2, number 1, to me, is pretty obvious. Chiefs, Bills, Lions, that should be your top 3. It was the top 3 last week. I just swapped Bills, Chiefs, because obviously Bills won. So that's my top 10 list.
There's nothing I really hate. I will say there's a couple things. There's a team that I have that you have that's not on my top 10. And then in the top 5, there's some rearrangement for me. Otherwise than that, there's not all that I have to pick apart. I don't hate it. I love the top 3. Outside of that, there's some mixing around to do.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
My question to you, Jeff.
Mixing around to do.
I just got a question. I don't know. This isn't like an argument. Right? This is just a question. Just because when I do mine, I do look at when teams play teams that are already on my list or teams that are off my list. If they fall out, I take account a little bit to that. Last week you did have the Steelers above the Eagles. You had the Steelers at 5 and the Eagles at 6. The Steelers beat the number 4 team last week, the Ravens, in which you still have them in the top 6. And the Eagles beat the Commanders, who were 7 on your list last week and who are now off top 10. So obviously you don't think they're that good of a team or not as good of a team.
No, they're good. They're just
not good, but obviously not as good as the Ravens because you have the Ravens at 6. I'm interested just why. And I know it was a close Steelers game, but the Steelers team's very good. I don't think I think they beat the Ravens. I think they're a Super Bowl contender now in the AFC. Legit football team. You put them. You had them over the Eagles last week, and I remember this too because me and you were on the same page with that. They beat the better team, in my opinion. They beat the Ravens, who you have at 6, who's obviously a better team than the Commanders. Both divisional games, big time games. I'm interested to see why. I guess you could say that the players and who they have. Yeah, no, I'm breaking it down. You got to be patient. Let me break this down a little bit. I'm giving my side here. So yeah, okay, now I'm done. Jeez, man. A little anxious over there.
No. My reasoning, because I do want to answer. My reasoning is the Eagles. They beat the Commanders. I know the first half looked a little different, but the second half they took over that game and they looked like clearly the better team. And I do respect the Commanders, but the way they beat them and the way they dominated the second half. And still they left 7 points on the board, missing kicks. I thought that win was in all due respect, second half especially, pretty dominant. They took care of the Commanders. The number 5 and number 6 spot. The reason why I only moved the Steelers up 1 is because, I kind of put when I was discussing the team, Steelers are very good. I didn't think that win wowed me to wow, the Steelers are here. to me, that was more on Tucker missing like 3 45-yarders. Like that one's a little confusing to me. I thought they're still a good team, but they didn't take care of the Ravens to where I'm like, wow, this team is that team. Does that make sense? Like,
I guess that's on you.
Tucker butchering some field goals, like maybe doesn't make me just put them at 4. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's true. I just think they defensively with the Steelers, them doing what they did to Lamar.
Great defense.
I think that puts them and like if I had a matchup Eagles Steelers this week again, and that's how we usually look at it, I probably would bet on the Steelers to win. That's just me.
And personally, with new information now that we're Tuesday, November 19th, I would bet on the Eagles.
That's fair. Hey, that was a good conversation there.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. I mean, I get your point. I
guess I just look at it in depth. Like maybe I look at it a different way. I don't know.
Like I look at Russ pick 6 in the red zone. Like I think you'll see some of those. Like I don't know if I fully think like Russ. Like this is prime Russ. You know what I mean? I'm a little skeptical. Their defense will keep them in every game, but as a complete team, their defense is so good. But as a complete roster, I would give the edge slightly Boone to the Eagles. It's not any. I don't mean that like disrespectfully to the Steelers. That's just where I'm at. But yeah, that's my top 10 list here. I don't want to take too much time here, but you want to go last, Boone, or you want to go next?
It doesn't matter.
All right, let me put this up. We'll just go Lukas next then, because usually you do go last. You like your the right list goes last.
The best list does go last. The correct one.
Yeah, of course. Klotz!
Let's show it. Come on now.
Klotz. Oh, okay, Klotz. Talk to me.
Hey, we'll start at number 10. Okay, the Minnesota Vikings, they're not going to be on this top 10. Watching them the last 2 weeks, they are not a top 10 football team in the NFL. Commanders, if you want to argue that they're right outside the 11th spot, that's where I have the Vikings. But for me to throw the Commanders outside the top 10, I got to see another Jaden Daniels performance where he just doesn't look the same. I think if Jaden Daniels puts a good performance together, that's still a top 10 football team. When I've seen out of Sam Darnold last couple of weeks, he's not going to be commanding a top 10 football team. I think both defenses are in a similar spot. Offensively, the Vikings have Justin Jefferson. I understand that, but I just think the way that they've been looking, the way that they look in the second half against the Vikings and in totality against the Jacksonville Jaguars is fucking disgusting. So they will not be in my top 10 list. I don't care if they're 8-2. Number 9 is the Green Bay Packers. They keep falling down this list, kind of like yours was, Jeff. They're again, I think to your point, they're an overrated team right now. I think that big G on their logo is what's kind of keeping them in relevancy as far as an NFC contender. This team just does not look good on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters. I think they don't have a consistent receiver and identity through the passing game. It's nice when you have 4 receivers that can go off any game. But when you're struggling to find a consistency in the passing game like they are, like Jaden Reed's the number 1 wide receiver. He had 2 catches. Christian Watson's going off. That's nice, but when you start to struggle against good teams like you saw against the Detroit Lions, they have no answer offensively if they can't get Josh Jacobs going. So that's why they keep falling. Number 8 for me, they were off my top 10 list. I think they were off all of our top 10 lists, is the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert and that defense, that's all you need to know. J.K. Dobbins, good game. Ladd McConkey looks really good. But the fact that Justin Herbert is turning Will Dissly into a playmaker, the fact that this defense, which was Brandon Staley, was fucking atrocious, and now statistically points per game wise, the best defense in the NFL, and they're another defense that bends, that does not break. It's really fascinating to watch what they do on the defense side of the ball. They play so soft, especially in coverage, but they just don't allow points. So I love what's going on in LA right now. You guys were right about them. I was high on them. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I thought they'd be right outside of it, but it looks like the Chargers are definitely going to be in the playoffs, and that's a team that nobody's going to face. Number 7 is the Houston Texans. You would think that the game yesterday it's the Dallas Cowboys would have been uglier, but I think the fact that on the first play, Nico Collins took an 80-yard to the house, I was kind of like, damn, that sucks. But then defensively, they had a touchdown. Joe Mixon, you couldn't stop him. C.J. Stroud looks like he's going through a little bit of a sophomore slump, but he's still a very good quarterback. Houston, I think defensively too, it's all going to mesh well when they get Will Anderson. I think they're going to get better. And number 6 for me is the Baltimore Ravens. They're not a top 5 team. That defense is washed. Lamar can look great all he wants. Derrick Henry can look great all he wants. If they can't stop a soul, if they don't fix this defense, they will be bouncing the playoffs by round 2. So right now, I think Lamar is a great quarterback. But somebody, I can't remember who said it in the chat, Lamar as a quarterback, as a thrower, is probably like a C+, B- arm. And I think that's going to continually hurt them when they get in games where the team's either stopping them defensively and they can't find that many answers, they're in a shootout. So right now, Ravens have a roster offensively full of talent, but defensively they need to get it figured out. Number 5 is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're staying in the same spot. They won just like the rest of the teams outside the Kansas City Chiefs did in the top 5. But when you watch that win, the Philadelphia Eagles just do not look like an elite team to me right now. I think they can be an elite team, but they have some things that they got to figure out. Jeff, you kind of talked about it earlier this week. Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, there's going to be some learning processes there. So they're going to get better. But right now, I just think if they were to go up against the Steelers, for example, the Steelers are just a more physical football team that know their identity. The Eagles, in my opinion, have a ton of talent. But offensively, if you want to say Saquon Barkley's their identity, that's fine. But when you look at the passing game with Jalen Hurts, it's very inconsistent. And I think that if you would play a defense like the Steelers, there'd be turnovers involved. They'd be running the ball on the Eagles. And I just think that the Steelers would walk out of there victorious. So I have the Steelers at 4. And then, like we said, top 3, pretty self-explanatory. Buffalo Bills are the number 2 team in the AFC now. And I'm happy that I could confidently not have to breathe about it. The Kansas City Chiefs are not the number 1 team in the AFC. Lions are the number 1 team in the NFL. That's my list, fellas.
Hey, he got the Texans higher than me, Klotz.
I don't hate the list. The only thing is just and I've been consistent on it. The Texans. I'm just still very, and you guys will see with my list. I'm just still Klotz. I think me and you have almost the identical list. It's just where you have the Texans. I'm not sold on. Huh?
No Vikings.
Yeah, that's on you. I think I guess that's I think the Vikings should be on there, but just for me, the Texans again, like yeah, they beat the Cowboys. Like if you watched the game, and I'm sure you did, Claude. I'm not saying you didn't, but like it was obvious that they just don't look like a top 10 team. Like I don't get the Cowboys are not good. They didn't really blow the Cowboys out until the last couple minutes of the game. Like when Cooper Rush throws or the Cooper Rush fumbles the ball, like it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, 34-10. Like guys, like that should not have been a close football game. First of all, like it was at one point, it was 20-10 halfway through the third, and Cooper Rush had multiple times to go. Like Mike McCarthy just kicks a field goal. It's 20-13, and they're like, and they should have never been in a close game with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
never. That Cowboys team is so bad. Like that was not a 34-10 type win from them, and they scored like a garbage touchdown with a minute or so left with Joe Mixon. Like there was no reason they should have. That was not a good game by the Houston Texans. They're a top 15 team, maybe, but not top 10.
Oh, that's insane.
I would put them maybe at like 12 or 13. Out maybe or 11, maybe if you
defensively though.
But
like
7, they're not a top 7 team. I guarantee you that. They're definitely not. They've lost like their wins. The Houston Texans wins. They've won one good game, the Buffalo Bills, and then outside of that, they beat a terrible Dallas team who if Dallas had any competent quarterback, they would have lost that game last night. They beat Indy twice. They beat New England. They beat Jacksonville, who we just beat by 50, and then they beat Chicago. Like they have one really good win, and like even like some of these wins they've had, like Dallas, they should have lost that game. If Dallas has any quarterback, that they lose. That's just, if you watch the game, that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, and this is my thing with it, and I guess the talent on top of like I get how you're talking about how the game looked. I look at it as like the final, because you could easily have been like the Vikings and beat teams by like 6. You know what I mean? Like the fact that again,
that's your argument with the Eagles Steelers. Like you're like Steelers final score they won, but yeah, no, they did. How did the Eagles look? They looked better in the second half. Texans did not look good for 4 quarters.
So I guess like if you're putting that, like, I'm sure you have the Commanders at 10, like. I look at it like both teams are 2-2 over the last 4 games. Okay. And the Commanders don't really have a signature. I mean, the Bengals, I guess, will be a win, but the Bengals aren't really that good. What other win do they have?
I mean, they lost 2 straight to the Eagles, Steelers, 2 good football teams. Like,
no, I know. Like, I'm asking. Your point was like their big wins. Like, what big wins do the Commanders have?
You know yeah, they really don't. I get your point. I really do. When I watch it, when I watch the 2 teams, like again, if the Texans played the Commanders, I'm looking at it. I'm going. I'm betting the Commanders. Like I just don't trust what the Houston Texans did after watching last night. It was literally a 1-possession game, or it should have been a 1-possession game if Mike McCarthy kicks a field goal, and then Cooper Rush fumbles the ball, picks it up, runs back for a touchdown, and then they get a garbage time touchdown when the game's already over to go 34-10. Like it should have been 20-13 in the 4th quarter if they have a competent quarterback, and any quarterback would have gone down and scored to tie the game versus that Houston's team. Like anyone.
Houston's defense looked good.
They were playing versus Cooper Rush. I would have looked good.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't be like,
You
oh,
can't say
went
they're
on
top
to
7 when
look
they played that offense.
I think when you look at that offense with Joe Mixon, then you got Nico Collins, who's back now, and he's fully back. Like, you watch him, he's healthy. Tank Dell did very good. Dalton Schultz is still there, and that defense is still very good, especially with the Miko Ryans, and then they got Will Anderson coming back. I understand, like the Texans, we all thought would probably be in the top 5 right now. They have some injuries, so they're not playing their best ball, but they just keep getting healthier. Like, they were out so many players a couple of weeks ago, and you watch them last night. Like, I understand they didn't look like the Texans you expect, but if they were to, like, they'd be in the game with the Chargers for sure. They'd probably beat Green Bay the way that Green Bay is playing right now. With Washington having banged-up Jaden Daniels, I do not trust a banged-up Jaden Daniels against a DeMeco Ryans defense, especially when I think that C.J. Stroud, he's going to eventually get it going again, and they'd be putting up points. So that I just think right now, like, through the course of the season,
Top 7's crazy. If you would have had them at 9 or 10, like Jeff, I think it would have been a little bit more like, okay, that's fair. Like, that's where it's at for me. It's like you could switch them out with the Commanders at the end, with the Vikings, with the Packers, but putting them in the top 7, that's saying that they're like, to me, like top 6, 7 is like teams that can compete for a Super Bowl. I don't think they have a chance at winning a Super Bowl this year. I really don't. And put that as a hot take for later if they ever go on a playoff run. Go ahead. I really don't. Dude, you went up against Cooper Rush yesterday. You won 34-10. You should have been up 34-10 in the second quarter the way you played. Yeah. Like, we were watching, Jeff, we were on we were kind of talking during the game. Like, it was very obvious. It was like, how are the Cowboys still in this game right now? Like, I had plus 7.5 for the Cowboys, and I was in it until like 4 minutes left of the fourth quarter.
I know.
I should have never.
But the counter
should have never been close.
But the counter argument is, you mentioned Cooper Rush, like, oh, they're playing Cooper Rush. If Cooper Rush lit him up, I would be with you. Like,
yeah, but again,
you gotta play it both ways. Like, if he plays well,
agree.
you know what I mean. If he doesn't, like,
that's why I think they're still at like I still think you could say 8 to 12 for them. They're in that, like, if you're doing tiers, 8 to 12 for them. They're in that spot with the Commanders.
Top 15.
Well, the top 15 is still 12. Like, that's still top 15.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, like, I think there's tiers. I think there's like tiers to the thing right now. I think it's like 1 through 3 tier. I think like maybe 4 through 7 tier, and then I think like 8 through 12 is another tier where it's like playoff team. Like, I think it's like. Yeah, not a spot. No, yeah, no. I have them out. I have them outside the top 10, so I still disagree. I still would push back.
Me, like, if they were spot back, you'd be all right. You could live with it.
No, I think if you had them at 9 or 10, I would be happy. But if it was 7 or 8, I just can't see. After watching that game last night, I just don't see a world where they're 7.
We'll get into it. Go ahead.
I can't.
Boone's list.
All right, let's get into it. Sorry. All right, Boone. What do you got? Here we go. Talk to me, Boone.
All right, this is the real list. This is the most factual list. And there might be a mistake that I'll call out on my own here, just based on the conversations that we have had, fellas. And I don't want you guys to argue with me or push back at me if I change it, because I might have a change here. All right, I have the Green Bay Packers at number 10. I just think, guys, you have only lost, what do they have? 2 losses right now, or 3 losses? Mm-hmm. Them and the Vikings. Let me look. I want to correct. I get both of them confused. So the Vikings have 2, they have 3. 7-3 sitting there. And Jeff had, I think, at one point mentioned about the Broncos and all of that. I think you can argue the Broncos, but I just think, like, the Broncos have lost to really good teams, and they haven't really had those wins. And I don't know if you can say maybe the Packers haven't. Like, the Packers have still won 5 of their last 6 games, and the only loss they have in their last 6 games is versus the Detroit Lions. So I do respect that a lot for the Packers. Like, they're winning football games when they need to. Obviously, the Lions game, like, if they don't play the Lions, they're probably 6 straight wins right now. The Commanders, I didn't want to drop them too much, Jeff, and you make a good point. Maybe I could have the Commanders at 10. Maybe just because they haven't really had a signature win yet. But I still think, like, they battled versus every team they've been in, and they've looked good. Like,
they beat the Cardinals. I looked. That was the one win I would say.
Yeah, like, okay, even in their losses though, like, they're bad. It's not like they're just getting blown. Like, they are battling. Like, even in the Eagles game, like, they battled back. They go down. Saquon goes on those massive runs. Like, we were all watching the game. Like, they still looked good, and like they belonged a little bit. So I still have them at 9. I had the Vikings at 8. This is more so just out of pure respect for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't really care who they're winning or not. If you're 7-2, I respect it. Like, you're finding ways to win. I respect Kevin O'Connell, that team, for going out there, figuring out ways to win football games. I've been very, very consistent on our show over the last year and a half or 2 years that if you're winning football games and finding ways to win, whether you're a fraud or not, I still believe that you're in the NFL. It's hard to win football games. 2 losses is impressive. Even if they're frauds, that's why I have them at 8. That's why they're not in my top 7. Like, hey, if they weren't frauds and they only have 2 losses, guess what? They would be up there with the Steelers and Eagles and the Ravens and those teams. But guess what? They're more so frauds, so I'll put them back in the back half of my top.
Wait. What'd you say? They're more so what?
They're more so frauds than they are a 2-loss team. But I would like, again, Jeff, think about it. The 2-loss teams in the NFL right now, you're talking about the Bills, Eagles, and Steelers, and then Vikings. Like if they I thought they were a legit 2-loss team, they would be in my top 5. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just didn't hear you. That's all.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and I think you guys kind of all agree with that. Jeff, you had the Vikings on there.
Yep.
A 2-loss team, you do got to respect it at some point.
Yep.
Even if they are frauds. Number 7, the Chargers have been unbelievable, guys. Like they have been extremely good, and they're actually a fun team to watch. Like the fact that Jim Harbaugh, after the years that they've had in the past and what's gone on in LA, that he was able to come in 1 year and turn this thing around. I respect that a ton. And sitting there, I think they're like 7-3 right now. They have a couple more wins, probably 3 more wins, and they're locked into the play, probably getting a wild card spot. So hey, Chargers, Klotz, that's a real number 7 team right there. Is the Los Angeles
Boone, you see the post game high fives Jim Harbaugh does?
I did not. No, you can send them to me. We'd love to see them. 6, obviously the Ravens. I think we all had them at 6. They just dropped a couple spots for the loss. That's a tough loss. I don't care who's missing kicks. I don't care any of that. That's a big time loss. And I think over the last 9 games, the Ravens are 1-8 versus the Steelers, which is crazy. Like they cannot beat Mike Tomlin. John Harbaugh cannot figure it out versus Mike Tomlin. Number 5 and 4, Jeff, we already had this conversation with the Eagles and Steelers. I guess for you, it's an interchangeable thing, but I think I'm going Eagles and then the Steelers. I think the Steelers if they play tomorrow, I think the Steelers beat the Eagles, and I'm betting them to win. And then obviously I flipped the Chiefs. I think everyone has to flip them, even if you think the Chiefs are a little better. I think it's just they went head to head. Bills won. Best team wins. Bills at number 2. Lions at number 1. Easy top. I think this is the best top 10. I do. We can put a poll in the chat if we want. I think that's the most accurate one so far.
I disagree, but you know what?
All right, fair enough.
But hey, but we all have kind of similar teams. Like I would even say, Boone, to your Steelers Eagles thing, I'm not even going to fight John it because if it was in Pittsburgh, I would feel it's one of those. It's like where's the game being played? If it was in Philly, I'd like the Eagles. Yeah, I don't hate the Steelers. Take it at all. But yeah, there's our top 10. Drop your mailbag questions. We'll get to mailbag here in a second. Yeah,
top 10 wasn't that toxic this week.
No, it was actually cordial. Maybe the bad take segment kind of loosened the boys up in terms of it gets a little intense. Okay, look at Klotz. Paused on that phase. Okay. Yeah, actually, let me retract that. Statement. What up, Gentry? How you doing?
Gentlemen,
how you doing?
Yeah, that was very no arguing, less toxic. That was very good, guys.
Cordial. I thought that was growth. I thought that was growth.
Gentry, real quick, do you think the Minnesota Vikings are a top 10 team? I'm just interested where you stand.
I think we asked him this last week.
No, that was the Eagles one. Remember we asked about the Eagles.
What'd you ask me last week?
Eagles Commanders. You take
yeah.
Oh yeah, Eagles Commanders. I think probably they're right outside of it, or maybe I don't know. I'd really have to actually do a list to kind of judge it, but I would say if they are, they're near the end. If not, then maybe outside of it.
You're not pounding the table for them, but you're not mad.
No, not by any means.
So
8-2 football team.
They're kind of on
it. Or 11 through 32. Which one are they?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Top 10 or 11 through 32? Where are
8
you ranked?
8-2. 8-2.
Winning games. 5-point win against Jacksonville. Almost a comeback win with Tennessee.
Same record as the Buffalo Bills.
They gave up
same record as the Eagles.
I would probably put them at. I'd probably put them at 10.
This guy.
No.
I mean, dude, the thing with that is just, dude, you're 8-2. Like in the NFL, again, you could be frauds. You could, even if you're frauds, 8-2 as a fraud. Like every NFL team would take that. Like, dude, you've won. You're 2 games or 3 games from being in the playoffs.
They were to travel to Glendale, Arizona right now. They're taking an L. I'll tell you that much.
I don't know. I think they're in a battle.
Yeah, they've been in a battle.
Klotz, they go to Arizona in 2 weeks, so we'll see that. They beat
That's a
literally
good
Klotz.
game.
And this is where I love you.
That's a great game.
This is where I love
And
you so
The
much.
Vikings
Klotz.
play in Chicago this weekend, right? It's in Chicago.
Yeah. This is what gets me. It's like just looking
know
at
about that
Minnesota wins. They beat the 49ers, which that was
It's like
right.
2 months
that was,
ago.
we're
We're
still
talking
talking. We're
about
talking.
right now.
Can you let me talk? Or you? This is
Go
where
ahead.
I'm talking about, though, where we have these conversations where Jeff brings up, like he asked me, does this team have good wins? We look at the whole season and look at what wins do they have, right? Like, have they beaten the teams that they're supposed to, or are they just losing to the good teams? They beat the 49ers. That was before everyone got hurt. They beat the Texans, who you have at number 7. They didn't just beat them. They beat them 34-7. They beat the Packers. I'm not even going to give the Jets out. And then the last 3 games that they've had, they've just taken care of business versus the Colts, the Jags, and the Titans. Like, they just did what they had to do to win games. Like, they're winning they're winning the games they're supposed. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, and they beat teams too that you have in your top 10. Like, they beat teams.
And I hear your points, Booner. A lot of those
Obviously
top
not.
teams that they were beaten were 2-3 months ago, and I think that
Before they were injured too.
Now
they're injured.
about halfway through the season, good defensive coordinators, all defensive coordinators really have film on them. Offensive coordinators have film on them, and they've been figured out. Mac Jones and the Detroit Lions, it was 52-6. They went into Jacksonville and won by 5.
What are you talking about? I didn't bring up the Jags. I'm talking about different teams.
That's what I'm saying. In the last 3 weeks, you're talking about the Jags, the Colts, and the Titans, and they've scraped through all 3 of them. That's not a top 10 team in football anymore. They were at one point. They were an elite team. The product that I'm watching right now, no, not a chance.
Can't win football game. Hey, Klotzy loves teams that lose. That just, hey, I love the product.
It's
you can lose games. I love the product.
I think this is where it gets a little like, because again, I got to respect that they're 8-2, but it's like you asked me about the Texans. Like, I could say, well, they beat the Bills, and that's the number 2 team in the NFL right now.
And that's a good win. That's a good win. And that's
So,
why I brought it up when I wrote their wins down at the top. I put Bills first.
Vikings, one of those teams I can go either way. I put them on my list, but I didn't love it. Yeah. I did it because of what Booner said. They're winning, but man, it's like, it's Klotzy worth speaking facts about the film thing. It seems like they got film on them, and now it's a different team. Like, now they're
still winning.
I was just going to say that even though they've won 3 of 4 since the Lions game, it seems like something's been figured out about their team since that game. That's what I will say. But I do still think that they are probably that 10 spot, or if not, they're right behind it, like 11 or 12. But
I mean, their defense has still held teams to 13, 7, 13. Yeah. Maybe it's because their left tackle got injured. I don't know. Maybe there's an injury there at the left tackle position. Maybe one of the best tackles in the NFL went down. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe the offense has been trying to adjust to that. Just a random. I don't know. Just thinking a little bit. Maybe
Will Levis looked capable.
That is true. There, saw as a dog. I forgot about it.
Will Levis looked capable against them. He had 300 yards passing. I mean, like,
buddy, they scored 7 points. There was no capable.
No. Red zone defense. Yeah, they were great, but I'm talking about they were moving the ball. They were moving the ball. The Titans, like, dude, Will Levis 300 yards. That might be honestly a season high. Has he had 300 yards all year?
Probably a career high.
Dude, they threw for. They scored 13. I'm sorry. I apologize.
They scored more than that. They only lost by
295. He threw an interception, a touchdown. I don't think
he threw a 98-yard touchdown.
They gave up 33 rushing yards. They gave up 33 rushing yards.
Boone, you're dying right now on this hill.
Yeah. It's Tony Pollard. Like, what are we talking about? That's what the Vikings do well.
You're dying. Hey, but it's not. I don't think it's. I could go either way. I don't hate Boone's argument. I could go either way. I really don't. I'm not gonna defend the. I really don't care. If you think they're outside, cool. I have them at 9, so I mean, whatever. Packers are hanging on too. I'm sorry, that team don't look it. The Lions beat them. They had a bye week and they almost lost to the Bears. That is terrible.
I almost kept my Cardinals and left the Packer and put the.
You just can't defend that. The Packers are. You have a bye week and you almost lose to the Bears.
That is tough.
That's a whole other thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. We had a couple questions here, so we just started. There's the
mailbag for a second.
Need some toxic. Shop the VTG. Is this Iffy's last year on his contract?
Yes. Not up the shop too.
Yes. Do you guys think they'll bring him back?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Showing some flashes, but can't stay on the field.
it was one of those things. Remember going into this year, we were talking about who's going to be in that same. There was the Brian Branch, Kirby, Iffy conversation, like who gets extended, what happened. I think it's easy if he's the one that the odd man out. You have to be able to play.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, you have to be able to play to be able to prove that you can take that position and you can get the contract, and you just have not.
Mailbag. Can't believe I'm asking this. I can't either, Diggity Dog.
Oh,
Who's more likely to make the playoffs, Plan Red Wings or Pistons? I go to you, Gentry.
Hey, I'm going to be 100% honest. If anyone in the chat, which they probably didn't because it was a late night game, watched the San Jose game yesterday, that pretty much sums up how the Red Wings season has gone this far. The defense is terrible. The goalies are letting in soft ones. The offense generates no sort of offense throughout a whole entire 3 periods throughout an entire game. To be honest, I'm going to say the Pistons right now. The Red Wings are one of the worst teams in the NHL as of now. I think they need to fire someone on the coaching staff, and they need to do something with the defense because it is just brutal. They are not a good watch right now. And as for someone who hates watching or has hated on the Pistons, rather, they look far, far better than the Red Wings, and their games are far more entertaining than the Red Wings games. Red Wings games are something you put on to go to sleep right now. The Pistons are actually playing games till the end. So shout out JB Bickerstaff and them. They're playing their tail off.
Stevie, bye.
The Wings. Hey, the Wings. That game last night was one of the more depressing losses. I mean, obviously you get an OT point, but you're playing San Jose. They're the worst fucking team in the NHL. Half their team's like 20 years old.
Was Marco Kasper on the ice?
Yeah, Marco has been looking good. Marco's probably like the only player with a heartbeat out there. It was outside of Dylan Larkin and Mo Seider.
That's crazy, dude.
Hey, Mike.
Patrick Kane?
Mike, you were honest. Let me be honest. Marco Kasper's nice. All right. I caught some highlights. Marco Kasper got some game, man. I'm not gonna, all the jokes aside, I used to troll you about him because you were hyping him up, and I'm like, oh my god, Marco Kasper. He's pretty good. So I will say, hey, you give me a bone, I give you a bone. Marco Kasper's pretty good. All right. But can we clip that? Can we get like a W take segment and clip whatever Mike just said?
You could play that on next week's Guess Who segment. No one's going to guess, and I'm giving the Pistons props.
Yeah,
so
honestly.
there we go.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
And I will say Steve Yzerman's whole offseason plan, and with the free agents that he did sign, Tarasenko, Gustafsson, Cam Talbot, even you could say, has been a disaster. Tarasenko has not been a good fit. I mean, you don't pay a guy $4.5 million to have him on the third line playing with not great players, and Gustafsson has not replaced Shane Gostisbehere to any sort at all. So, the offseason plan, it might have looked good, but it has not panned out well thus far. But
tough look. It's a tough look.
Is he hiring a second coach?
I think that is going to come soon. I'm going to be honest. And hey, it might be needed because obviously it's not to the extent of the Pistons and Monty Williams, like doing the dumb shit that he was doing, sitting Jaden Ivey for Killian Hayes, but it's getting bad.
Hey, I don't really care about the Pistons and Red Wings right now. Freddie Felt's putting the Booner Pat sign in Lucas Oil Stadium in a touchdown.
Hey,
I cannot wait. If we see that on the Freddie, if I see that on TV, man, oh my gosh, that would be unbelievable.
Hey,
the
Freddie,
Booner Pat worldwide.
You send us a photo, please. Let's put that on the show, man. Like,
I'll put it on social. We'll put it on social, everything.
Yeah, that's sweet. Man, that is awesome, Freddie.
Shout out Freddie too.
Hey, fun show today, fellas. Hey, fun.
If we didn't have to do our live show, every week, I would be down in Indy hanging out with Freddie going to the game. Man is a legend.
Hey,
the boys love Indy.
We'll be there for the combine. We'll be back there.
The combine, yeah, Freddie, we'll be there for the combine. We're about to book our hotel and get everything set in the next couple of weeks, which is unbelievable.
All right. Hey, appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in today. As always, we love you guys. Keep showing support, watching the show, liking the show, even buying merchandise. If you want to rock some Lions gear, Red Wings gear, Pistons gear, we got it all in the shop. Even some Tigers. I believe we got Tigers on there. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back. John Macroon, the Doc, Wednesdays.
Love you guys.
You guys know how it is. Until then, we'll see you. Peace.